after a shooting near a health clinic in Pelican Narrows. Peter Ballantine Cree Nation has closed schools and its band office following the incident. RCMP say one person was killed, another injured, and residents were ordered to shelter in place for nearly 6 hours. An investigation is ongoing. Saskatchewan RCMP Inspector Ashley St. Germain said this today.
If you saw something or know something about this shooting, please say something. While investigators continue to collect and analyze evidence, including video surveillance, eyewitness accounts will be key to providing answers to the victims and their families.
The First Nation says the closures of the schools and the band office will remain in effect for the rest of the week as a safety precaution. Meanwhile, the local health clinic will provide limited services to residents with urgent medical needs. A 35-year-old Regina man is facing charges after a machete incident on Rochdale Boulevard. Police say witnesses reported a man waving a machete and threatening someone before leaving in a taxi. Officers later stopped the vehicle near Britton Bay and arrested him, finding a machete on him. He faces multiple weapons-related charges. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Weather tonight, looking for cloudy sky and a low down to 8 degrees. Tomorrow, spotty afternoon showers in the area. Only a high up to 20. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, a low down to 9. Looking ahead to Thursday, partly sunny sky, a high of 20. Friday looks nice, mostly sunny, and a high of 24. Saturday, sunny and a high of 29. Currently in downtown Regina, we have cloudy sky. It is 20 degrees.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Okay, it's a Tuesday edition of the Sportscage for Saskatchewan Lotteries. The Rider Scratch ticket is out there. Neither of the $75,000 prizes have been won, FYI. All the money stays in Saskatchewan. It goes to sport, culture, and recreation. We thank Sask Lotteries for being our sponsor. Curtis is with me today. We got a show for you. All our guests are going to come on through the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza tonight. Sounds right. We get game one of the Stanley Cup final. If you're not watching hockey, you can get pizza and do whatever you're doing. Maybe any of the Greek favorites. One of our guests is going to be in studio, I guess, so you can still... we give him a plug for Western Pizza there. We do have Rob Vanstone coming up. Rider historian in hour one. He's going to ride with us for most of hour one. So if you have questions for Rob Vanstone, and if you've ever heard Rob Vanstone on this program before, he remembers things like nobody else. You could get 50 to 100 people in a room, and Rob would be able to mention and remember and give you stats that the other 50 or 100 people wouldn't be able to. It's great to have Rob always on the show, and his dog Candy will be in the studio as well. We're going to talk a lot about Stanley Cup playoffs too, and game one of the Stanley Cup final goes tonight in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have Pumpjacks Cathedral Trivia. We're playing for $50 today. That's going to be in hour one. It will be based on the Las Vegas Golden Knights. $50 to Pumpjacks Cathedral. Sprinkle of the day is coming up. Arash Madani with what a crazy day NFL-wise yesterday. Some of those signings as a Patriots fan, I'm okay with it. We'll get to that with Arash. He'll talk some CFL and some hockey as well. Our first CFL West Division preview will be coming in hour two. Jeffrey, keep your pants on. It's Jock Wilson from QR77 in Calgary, and all of our Calgary fans. Yes. You guys can get excited. Jock Wilson's going to come on. Let's find out what the word is on the Calgary Stampeders this year. Hour 3, Glen Suitor. We always like your questions. Anything you got for Suits, he'll be with us in hour 3, and then more Stanley Cup talk, odds talk, ticket prices talk, all of that. Again, it's for Sask Lotteries. How do you participate? How do you get those questions to us? It's the Prairieland Rentals text line. If you're sitting and you got an old beat-up lawnmower or any gardening tools like me, my weed whacker stinks. Prairieland Rentals, Husqvarna dealer. There's deals on right now. They got the robotic lawnmowers. And if you just need something for that job that you don't want to buy, they will rent it to you. You get to deal with the owner. 600 Albert Street, the number 936-6262. 936-6262. Here's the first question. Maybe a lot of our regulars. I'd like a lot of our regulars, and then the new people come in too. I'm curious on this with the regulars. Who do you got in the Stanley Cup final? Who do you got in the final? And who wins the playoff MVP? Conn Smythe. Who do you got? I'm looking at our regulars like Roscoe, like Travis, like Trevor, like John, maybe John the Habs fan. Rose, you become a regular. We want Rose as well. Who do you guys got? I'm torn. And when we get to Sprinkle of the Day and we get to some other things here, I might need Benny to chime in. I don't know what to do tonight. There's some stats. I think like Vegas is 8-1 in game ones of playoff hockey. But then there's a stat I heard, and I didn't write it down, about Carolina being good in game ones. So I was gonna bet a half a farm on the Golden Knights to win tonight money line.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know.
Carolina, if it wasn't for the one game that the Habs took off of them, like they would have clean sweeped everyone this whole playoff run. Like Carolina's looking good.
Ottawa, Philadelphia, meh. But then I guess you look on the other side and they call it the pillow fight division in the Pacific, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and then how they had to who they had to go through. So I guess Sam as well. So what do you say? You're saying, what are you saying in this series? Let's start it with Curtis's prediction.
My take? Well, I yesterday actually on our Sprinkle the Day action, I thought it was a little crazy, but I was like 10-1 clean sweep Carolina. You know,
that's not happening.
I'm
not going to get into eating a piece of gitch talk here, but that's not happening.
You know what? You got to shoot your shot, though. You know what did Wayne Gretzky say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Barney.
I thought that was Michael Scott. Said that.
He might have said that too, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Vegas, I think it tested, obviously, that first round against Utah pretty big, and then that comeback where they had to. Anaheim, then you sweep Colorado. By the way, Colorado keeping Sasky boy Jared Bednar as head coach. So I think that's good news. Keep him around there. Joe Sakic moving into, I think, the GM position. In Carolina, yeah, so you dust Ottawa.
It's a long shot for a clean sweep for Carolina, but the odds makers are saying it's an even longer shot for Vegas to do a clean sweep. They're saying 18.5.
I know you don't sprinkle all that often, and I'm no expert as well. I just like to do it. It keeps things interesting. I would say look away from the sweep bets, Curtis. Yeah. I don't think the Stanley Cup final is going to be a sweep on either end. Call me crazy. But yeah, let's hear you. What do you got? So you're saying Carolina wins the series?
Oh, yeah. I'm calling Carolina right now.
Okay. I'll give you mine later. Let's see what...
Ooh, a tease.
Let's see what everyone has. Ed, what do you think? You're already chiming in there. What do you think on the Stanley Cup final? And don't say you don't care, because we all care. It's the Stanley Cup final. 936-6262, or you can get at us on the YouTube chat as well. Let's go to our first break, and then we come back with Rob Vanstone. We already have a question for Rob Vanstone coming in. It's a sports cage for Saskatchewan Lotteries on Tuesday on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM proudly presents the Salute to Saskatchewan 4-H. We encourage all 4-H members, including youth, leaders, and parents, to register your 4-H club to be recognized each week live on the air. Your 4-H club could also win tickets to Moonlight Movies for a free movie and popcorn. This is just 620 CKRM's way of recognizing and saluting the ag leaders of tomorrow. Sponsored by Canadian Agri-Blend, Heartland Livestock Services Yorkton, Cowtown, Weyburn Livestock Exchange, Moose Mountain Pro Rodeo, Whitewood Livestock Sales, She-Ho Sports Days, Mud Fling and Ranch Rodeo, and Heartland Livestock Services Moose Jaw.
If you've been putting up with cold showers and hard water that makes everything feel like more work, stop waiting. Reliance Heat makes it easy. Rent a water heater and a water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400. That means hot water when you need it and water that just works better. No big upfront cost, no hassles. Visit waterheaterrentals.com to get the offer.
Call on Reliance.
Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
The world is changing. From the misuse of AI and the rise of deepfakes to the dangerous spread of misinformation, it's getting harder for Canadians to separate fact from fiction. That's why having a trustworthy news source is vital. At Global News, we're committed to objective journalism that cuts through the noise. Stick to the facts. Global News, Canada's trusted news.
He's gaining on us! Quick, let's hide in the garage.
No! It's stuck! Again!
You said you fixed it!
I meant to, I just never called Busy Bee Doors!
Lift it, hurry, lift it!
It won't budge! It's busted!
Don't let a broken garage door turn into a horror story. Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Don't miss a minute of Sportscage. Podcasts are posted at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. Sportscage on Tuesday. Studio now has 4. Rob Vanstone, rider historian, is with us, and he's lifting her up. There she is. If you're watching the stream, he is with his dog. He's trying. Let me get the seat.
This chair is going to go up from under.
Yeah, hold on.
We're going to make news in ways we didn't envision.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
This is your big chance, Barney.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. You good,
You
girl?
good?
I think so.
Okay, just so people can get a shot of her. There we go.
There.
Candy's on the screen. She is like so lovable, like unbelievable. Okay, so what? How old and what is she again? She licks your nose.
She's a total mutt. She's a, I think wire-haired fox terrier, border collie, maybe some German shepherd. She's everything.
And you got her.
We got her at. She was a foster dog. We got her at the from the Humane Society on April 21st, 2021, and we were supposed to have her for 2 weeks.
Is that COVID?
Yeah, it was just kind of tail end. Mm-hmm. So, sorry, I'm out of breath. I had a wrestling match with her to try and stay on the chair.
Is she busy? Like, do you need to like lots of walks and?
Oh yeah. I need to walk more than she does. So,
do you take her when you bike? Because you're big.
No, because she would see a squirrel or a rabbit,
yeah,
and that would be it for me. But right from here, we're going to go to Wascana and take her for a walk around the lake. So,
I was keeping track of your biking in Saskatoon, and I was actually kind of curious because I've biked a lot of those paths and just the riverbank. And
Meewasin Trail is amazing.
So what was the furthest that you hauled in Saskatoon?
40 one night, but my personal best is 112. So I'm hoping that was from 2021, coincidentally enough. So I'm hoping to pull a 112 this year and get myself back in shape.
How would you do 40? How did you do that in Saskatoon? Was it straight riverbank the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much. That day I crossed the University Bridge, went right, but as far as you can go by that golf course.
Silverwood.
And then went back and went
all the way to the west side to the Queen Elizabeth Power Plant.
Yeah, exactly. Queen Elizabeth Power Plant, and it was a nice.
Caught a lot of crayfish down in that area.
Oh, really?
That's our old kind of where the kayak and canoe club is on that side. That's
I saw a few
badminton
people.
Tennis courts. That's right by where I grew up.
And there's those cool basketball courts there. And
yeah.
There's an ice cream stand, and where I neutralized a bike ride one night.
That's a lot. I didn't think that was possible to put on 40 just doing the riverbank. But if you kind of went that way, then you backed and.
Yeah, no, I just and then I managed to get myself lost, and I put on an extra 2 or 3. Somehow I ended up on 8th Street. Just how did I do this? Where is the university? I had to Google Maps my way back to the U of S campus, but that took me from 37 to 40. So I got the 40 in, and then I got home and did a 50. My first chance I had back in Regina. So
it's intense.
Hopefully tomorrow I gotta lose the weight I put back on. So what better way to do it than bicycling? So.
Training camp in Saskatoon. A lot of people are saying it's going to be hard to do it there now. I don't know if there's a plan for Griffiths and the field. Hopefully all that, and then that exhibition game and that atmosphere. I wasn't able to go, but I just sit back and I mentioned it on the show, and I'm like, there was about 8,000 people. So let's say you put some temporary seats up. You could have easily got 12, maybe 13 with standing. And I'm like, what's wrong with this for a CFL atmosphere? Now, maybe you aren't going to make all your money in ticket sales, but to do something like that in that Quebec stadium or maybe somewhere smaller, I'm like, what an atmosphere.
It was tremendous. And it's not very often you use preseason game and classic in the same sentence. And but that truly was. And I think the surroundings played a role. And it sure didn't hurt that. I mean, if somebody had told me before the game, okay, what's your best angle for this game? What would you like? And we will make it happen. Okay, how about Daniel Weeb catches game-winning touchdown pass?
On a slant from the wide, just all dramatic, like has to jump up a bit.
And it's a 3-yard touchdown pass caught 2 yards deep in the end zone in the final minute to the left of the uprights. Trevor Harris to Tommy Neal in West Final. 3-yard touchdown pass, 2 yards deep in the end zone to the left of the uprights. So the Roughriders' last 2 home games, if you consider look at the province of Saskatchewan, had virtually the same ending.
You must have had people throughout camp, maybe at the game, because Dave Thomas was talking about just the diehard fans that were there and coming up to him and talk. You must have had people coming up and talking stories or wanting to talk about stories with you that don't get down here all that much because they're either from Saskatoon or surrounding area.
Yeah, it was really neat. I mean, Dwayne Bisdell is at every practice, sat in the first row, and he would walk 4.7 kilometers to and from practice every day, didn't miss one. And you get to know the familiar faces, and sometimes they bring their pets, which was nice because I was having dog withdrawal while I was in Saskatoon, and you really got a sense of how much people appreciated it, especially some of those mornings when it's pretty chilly out there. You get there and there's still people in the stands, but then to see that kind of outpouring. The most the Riders had ever gotten for a preseason game attendance-wise in Saskatoon before was 5,100. So that went up by 2,500 people. And that was a really nice way to cap training camp, at least the Saskatoon portion of it.
Carol on the text line.
Hi, Carol.
Was there many Blue Bomber fans there? She wasn't there.
Aside from Ed Tate, the Bombers staff writer who's out next to me in the press box, he was looking extremely blue. I didn't see any. I was too busy looking for people wearing Joey Walters jerseys, and I found one. And Joey started out with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 1977 before they let him go, and thanks Winnipeg for that one.
Yeah, you got any questions for Rob? He's here for pretty much the hour. 936-6262, Prairieland Rentals text line. I want to get your take, and there's good. There'd be maybe some negatives to it. I think it's extremely weird. I want to say it's kind of like adversity right from the start of the season, how they're having to deal with this schedule. It's like early preseason game and then preseason game and then off and then bye week and then off the other week. Have you been through anything like that before or ever seen that before?
No, I checked the longest gap between the preseason finale and the Riders regular season opener ever. I don't remember what year it was, but it was 15 days, and this year's 21. So, I mean, it's a significant difference between the precedent that had been set. I would be more concerned about it, say, if the BC Lions were playing this week. So they have one regular season game, and they've ironed out a few bugs with starters. Preseason doesn't give you a full opportunity to do that. That would concern me more. The fact that BC is also off on week one, both teams, it should be pretty much a level playing field in terms of preparation because of the fact that BC also has the bye. I don't think it's a long wait, but any concerns I have are mitigated by the fact that the opposition is pretty much in the same situation. Not with 21 days between games, but they haven't been able to play games that's making their final cuts.
Let's talk about those final cuts. For me, and I know Tegan was on yesterday, so I saw it. Surprising, the first one that jumped out at me was Mario Anderson Jr.
Yeah, Quali Connolly came in and just really looked good, and I was surprised because Mario Anderson Jr., when he played last year, played really well. He had 2 touchdowns in the Labor Day Classic, and would seem to me that, that one surprised me. But what I saw of Connolly, I liked. He really ran hard and had a burst. Not that Mario was deficient in that regard, but he was signed, shortly before the Riders preseason finale and came in and impressed. And it's a surprise when someone comes in on such short notice and unseats a veteran. And, Matthew Sexton signed shortly before the Riders' first preseason game and was so impressive so quickly that he ended up on the practice roster along with Connolly. And you don't see very often somebody joining the team in camp, a significant way into camp, and then end up surviving the final cuts. And that kind of, those two scenarios stand out for me as things that I would have viewed as improbable when camp started.
Do you think that has something to say about just God-given athletic ability or football IQ to be able to adapt that quick?
I'm not in any position to attest to discuss God-given athletic ability. But I mean, I think it certainly shows that you're a smart football player.
Yeah.
Being able to absorb a playbook that quickly. In the case of Sexton, he'd barely been here, and he goes to Calgary and catches five passes for 78 yards and played well against Winnipeg. And showed not only as a receiver but as a returner that he can get the job done. And just how determined he was, especially on the kick returns. Like he's not a big player, and he was fighting for every inch. And I think when you see that kind of determination, that really resonates too. And I noticed that with Connolly and the way he was finishing off his runs. Like that's a very determined runner.
Yeah.
And when the number one running back is AJ Ouellette, I think the bar is set pretty high as far as being a determined runner. And I think Connolly, as a complement, if necessary, fits that style.
We're going to go back to camp here, but it made me think of something. Who comes to mind when you think of a receiver really cerebral, just smart, IQ over the years?
Ray Algard didn't get enough credit for it because Ray was such a physical player.
Yeah.
That I think in a way he got typecast. People said, well, they're just going to throw the ball to Ray, and he's just going to steamroll people. And that was certainly an element of his game. But Ray said several times, it doesn't matter if you're open if the quarterback doesn't know where you are on the field. Ray knew the whole offense. He knew the offense as well as Ken Austin, as well as Tom Burgess. And Ray, as bruising a receiver he was, he didn't get enough credit for his very deceptive speed, and he didn't get enough credit for Ray passed 35 in the season in which he turned 35. He scored 3 touchdowns of 50+ yards. But he was such a smart player. And I've always thought that's been an overlooked aspect of his game because he was connected to Ken Austin, especially with a wire.
Wow.
And I always thought that was, Hugh Campbell wrote a thesis on the art of catching a football. And, Huey was such a great technician. He was one of one of the first to really look at it that way. But that probably should have been the first receiver I referenced. But just thinking of Ray and how he never really got recognized for being the offensive mind that he was, and that was a key part of his repertoire.
Wow.
Just such a smart player.
I never would have thought you were going to say Ray Elgar. I'm actually happy I asked that question. The kicking game, like a lot was being made of Jonathan Kim. We talked to him here on the Sports Cage. We heard audio from a number of times. 70 yards, a lot of leg, all that. He falls into what I see, and I don't know how much you can talk about this, is maybe the global position and what needed to happen where Hale can maybe fill that.
That's the only presumption I can make. I haven't talked to anybody on the team about the rationale behind the final cuts, but it's tough to carry an American kicker, and it's easier to fit a global kicker onto the roster, and when you're trying to accommodate the Americans as you do at so many roster spots. I know Corey likes to have a rotation of defensive linemen, and so that often necessitates carrying some extra American players as rotational players along the line, and perhaps it's related to that. I'm only guessing, but But
was there a lot, like when you watch them kick all through camp, right? Like Hale's got big leg too. Hale's a good kicker. Maybe in the games he missed a couple where Kim didn't, but obviously
they were from 56 and 57.
Yeah, true. Yeah, okay.
And so and Kim had hit the field goal from 51. In both cases, you're talking about somebody with a very strong leg, and that's really going to be necessary next year with the goalposts moving to the back of the end zone. Looking ahead a bit, but and I think they showed confidence in Hale, even having him attempt the 56 or the 57.
True.
They'd obviously seen that. Okay, that's makeable. That's not a long shot.
Yeah.
And so, but that'll be something interesting to follow. It's been since 2006 that the Roughriders have had a new kicker and a new punter in the same year.
Really?
Luca Conji came in replacing Paul McCallum in 06. And punted for his first year with the Roughriders in addition to kicking field goals. The last time before that was Bob McAreedy in 76, replacing Jack Abanchan, who had retired as the place kicker, and Alan Ford had been the punter at the conclusion of the 75 season. Before that, the last time we had this was 1951. Glen Dobbs, the quarterback, was also the punter, and Red Ettinger was the placement kicker, such as placement kickers were in those days.
Do you ever think we're going to see that again? Like everything's cyclical in a roundabout way, especially in sports and life and finance and whatever, where we're going to see someone that can kick and punt? You
do every now and then. It's not as prevalent as it once was. I mean, I remember watching, and Louis Pasaglia was doing both, and Bernie Ruoff was doing both. Bob McAreedy did both here. Paul McCallum, obviously.
Is it?
It seems it's a lot more. There's a lot more of division of labor in that regard than there once was.
Look, I was going to say, I when I look at it, I think it's because the punting game has become, so skillful. Like you got to place it now. You got the backspin thing, where maybe in the past, you had to directionally punt things, but now what these punters can do with a ball is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's just there's a science to the punting game that we never imagined once upon a time. I mean, placement's always been a factor to a degree, but now it's there's topspin and backspin and all these. It almost sounds like you're describing a tennis match sometimes with the nuances of punting. And I wonder if that's factored into it. I wonder if the global program is factored into that as well, because there's so many punters especially coming out of Pro Kick Australia and Australia in general, and then out of the U.S. college ranks. And that, with the global roster exemption as well, I wonder if that's led in part to the division of responsibilities there. But it's certainly, and rosters are bigger. I mean, I remember when I saw players doing both, and there were 32, 34-man rosters. It wasn't like it was exclusively back like that back then, but it was sure nice when you had one kicker to do both. Rosters are larger now.
Yeah.
Not large enough for some coaches, but much larger.
Enlighten me and anyone else that's listening about the Australia and why we're seeing so many kickers out of there.
Well, there's a kicking academy or school. I'm not sure of the exact term, but it's called Pro Kick Australia, and it's basically designed to prepare Australians for North American football and Aussie rules football. They have so many of the rudiments down pat, and we've seen some of the directional kicking, and I can't say that I've watched a lot of Aussie rules football in my life, but I presume that's a pretty integral part of the game. And but that pretty much creates these Australian kickers that then end up in a lot of cases at U.S. colleges and in the NFL and in the CFL, and that must be an amazing process. And you've seen some guys who have, in a matter of a few months, have taken their Aussie rules football skills and modified them to become a very proficient at North American football. On a plane they go. Yeah. Nice short flight from Melbourne to Regina. Or Sydney or wherever the case may be.
Yeah. Brian in Neudorf has a question. If the Riders are starting 3 Canadian receivers, would they need to dress 2 Canadian backups?
Generally, they've only dressed 1. I mean, last year, the team has generally went with 2 Americans, 3 Canadians for a lot of last year, and there was typically 1 backup, Mitch Picton, a lot of the time. I wouldn't anticipate a second backup unless that backup is also able to play on special teams. There may be some utility there, but typically, whether it's the offensive line or the receiving core, there's 5 starters and 1 backup, and I would be surprised if it was different this year.
Give me your assessment of how Deshaun Mims looks out there.
Very good, and this was a big year for him. It's his 3rd year since being drafted, and talking to Corey Macy, you could tell that he put the work in during the off season. And didn't have sparkling numbers during the preseason, but how many receivers are being auditioned? And they knew what they had in Deshaun Mims too. I think there was, I think they wanted to test out some of the other players to find out what they had. So I don't think there was necessarily the imperative of throwing the ball to Deshaun, but he made one of the receptions on that last touchdown drive directed by Braden Shager, culminating in the touchdown catch by Daniel Weeb. And I think this is a pretty important year for him, and he's risen to the challenge so far.
Any questions you have for Rob Vanstone here, Rider Historian, 936-6262. He's going to stick around. I think Candy actually might be having a little nap under the table here.
She's listened to me for 5 years now. It tends to put her under. She'll roll over on her back any second now.
We'll go to break. It is the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
Spring's finally here.
Spring in Regina? I'll believe it when I'm sitting on a patio.
Then let's get to Pumpjacks. Patio's open.
Open now?
Yep, Sunday brunch, daily food, and drink specials.
Hold on, brunch and a patio?
And weekly live entertainment.
All right, that's not spring. That's a lifestyle.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pumpjacks Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
What if I pick the wrong hail coverage?
Palliser.
Or I miss a better deal?
Nah.
Or better coverage?
Palliser.
You never worry?
No.
What else is there to talk about? Palliser Insurance. Call your trusted agent today or buy online at your convenience. Visit palliserinsurance.com. Anywhere, anytime.
Out here in southern Saskatchewan, the sun shows up for work every day. Might as well make it earn its keep. That's where Keln Solar comes in. These folks travel all over the province helping people put solar on their homes, farms, and cabins. They're local guys, Sask-born, Sask-raised, and not going anywhere. Except, to your place. Now's the time to start planning for spring and summer 2026 bookings. Give Keln Solar a call and they'll come show you your best options. Keln Solar. They move the power so you don't have to. KelnSolar.com.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Welcome back to Sportscage. Check out our podcast powered by Freeze Tolman. Available anytime, anywhere at 620ckrm.com and sportscage.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage. Streaming, if you want to watch along through our YouTube channel. Of course, we're on 100 years old, 620 CKRM. Rob Vanstone is joining us. Speaking of that, 100 years of CKRM, you must have some fond memories when you think back of 620 CKRM.
Well, I think of 980 CKRM.
Oh, hold on. Your mic. You got to turn your mic on because you might use this clip.
That's how far back I go. I remember 980 CKRM, and it's really neat to see that kind of longevity.
Yeah.
You know, it's especially with the media industry these days, and it's fragile in some areas, but the power of this station and the power of this medium. I remember. When with the advent of television and with the popularity of television, people thought, well, that's going to be trouble for radio. Nope. It's radio has withstood. Look at the challenges the newspaper industry has been having, and when radio came along, people were saying, well, this could be a tough deal for the newspaper industry, and they lived quite symbiotically for a long time. Mm-hmm. Radio has had such an enduring presence, and I've always appreciated that about it. I'm an old radio nerd. For Christmas 1976, my dad bought me a Radio Shack Patrolman 9, a realistic Patrolman 9 multi-band radio. It had 2 shortwave bands, a police band, public service band, whatever that was, an AM band that could pull in stations forever, forever and ever and ever. And I've always been an AM radio junkie. I have verification cards from the prove I heard WCBS 880 and WNBC 660, and I've always loved the AM dial. And for a station in this market to be hitting 100 years, I only remember 98 of them, but that's really something. Congratulations to everybody here, and thanks for being so accommodating to my dog.
Here's a question: did you ever put anything or buy anything from the flea market?
I'm not a morning person, but my mom was an inveterate contest enterer and winner. So Mom probably won something or bought something. My mom was a big flea market person. She used to get tables at flea markets, the old Trianon Ballroom, and she basically put me through university by buying something for a nickel and selling it for a dime times 14 million. And so I'm sure Mom was on was part of the flea market a lot of the time.
She was the red paperclip person way before the red paperclip.
My mom
trading up and selling. Yeah, I love
my mom worked miracles, and then in the early '80s, the interest rates were like 20%.
Yeah,
and she invested well then, and that's how I got through university. Mom invested stuff at 20%. I was unemployable, so Mom, it's tuition time again.
I got a question here.
Too much information.
From Brandon, faithful listener. Said, question for Rob. After all these years covering the team, how good did it feel to get a ring and realize how big of a role he is in the Saskatchewan Roughriders? And if he's ever looking for a sidekick, I will apply.
Well, I brought my sidekick with me, right, Candy? There's no opening for a sidekick. She's my another appendage.
Those rings are amazing.
It's stunning. I still can't process this. I looked at it and I thought, yeah, all the touchdowns I scored last year, no wonder they gave me a ring. I shouldn't even be flippant about it, because it's an honor times, I don't even know how many exponents to put after that, to sit there and open a box and see your name on it. You see your name on the side of it. And I've spent much quality time on the recliner over the last couple of days, just kind of staring at it and wondering, who's this guy named Vanstone that played for the team last year? I got to find this guy so I can give him the ring.
You got to squint. He was in the middle somewhere.
I mean, even coming here today, I drove by the Hotel Saskatchewan, where the ring ceremony was held on Sunday night, and just wow, like I was there 2 nights ago getting a ring.
That's it.
It's. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to process this. I'm still trying to process winning the Grey Cup last year, and being a part of that. It's just, this is stuff I never envisioned, and I hope it doesn't wear off. I hope I can never become cavalier or blasé or matter of fact.
You won't. No, I've been around you enough now over the last 2 years or whatever. You never will. Like that's I can tell how excited you'll be. Excited, just as excited a couple years down the road. It's just a matter of how you're going to store it and showcase it, or what you're going to do. I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
Flea market.
I got back on Sunday nights. Like, what do I do with this? Like, where do I put it? Suddenly, I have a net worth. I've never had a net worth before, right? If I take my dog for a walk, all of our valuables are at the end of the leash. Now I've got this ring. What do I do with it?
What would Mom do?
That was the other thing I was thinking. I wish my mom could have been there.
Yeah.
A colleague of mine, Channing Masahara, amazing person, and her dad, David, flew in from Vancouver and was with Channing that night, and just a wonderful man, and also likes jazz. Great person, and just that really hit home for me. Like, I just wish my mom could be here.
Yeah,
I would have, the day after, it was the 44th anniversary of my dad passing away. On the last weekend of his life, his jazz group played at the Hotel Saskatchewan. So it was like everything was, I was pretty sentimental that night.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sure once upon a time, the Alan Vanstone group was on CKRM. So
we might have to look that, Curtis.
Go through the
archives.
archives.
Some hard research for you.
I'm not sure how much
Alan Vanstone group.
I'm not sure how much piano jazz is in CKRM's history. Over the course of its time, I'm sure every genre of music has been played on this station, and
probably pretty close for sure. Back to
sorry for that tangent. I get talking about my parents.
No, that's great. I'm kind of leading the thing here. I love it. This is you're giving us a lot of good stuff here. The West Division, we're kind of doing this week. I'm talking to Jock Wilson from Calgary in hour 2. Kind of going to do a preview of each West Division team with a broadcaster or somebody from the city this week. What are you thinking about the West Division?
I was pondering that last night because coming out of preseason, even entering the training camps, you're looking, okay, that team's going to be better. That team's going to be better. That team's going to be better. And something's got to give, but where? And in what facet of the game? Not everybody could improve across the league. And you look at it and think, okay, Ottawa is going to be better. And, Montreal has Davis Alexander healthy for the full year. And Toronto with Chad Kelly, etc. So you're looking, I think there's a case for everybody improving, but I don't think there's going to be 9 teams finishing 9-9. Like there's something has to give, and I cannot figure out for the life of me. And one injury at a key position could perhaps alter that. I think it's a pretty delicate balance.
Exactly.
But, it's going to have to be some form of misfortune, because I could see 12-6 won the West last year. I could see that happening again this year. Maybe even go back to 1988, and 3 teams were tied for first at 11-7. I could see it being that tight, because there's just so much. I mean, Edmonton has got to be better. You saw Calgary's reemergence last year. BC is such a talented team, and Winnipeg, with more weapons at Zach Collaros' disposal, you think they're going to be formidable. What a division this is going to be.
I'm kind of bullish to a point where I might sprinkle a little bit on Calgary. Like I just, what I'm seeing out there, what I'm hearing, I haven't watched them play yet. It's funny. I'm like, hey, when do the Riders beat Calgary again? It's like this little kryptonite thing, right? The last little while. And I guess the sexy bet, or whatever everyone wants to say, is BC. But I'm like, you watch that, like Calgary easily could have won that West semi last year, even how banged up they were.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think I wonder what the gap is going to be between first and fifth this year. I think it's going to be a tight division throughout. I was looking at the Roughriders and position by position, and a lot of people are saying Saskatchewan, BC 1, 2 in whatever order, and I think you can look at those Saskatchewan and BC and just you go through those teams position by position, and they're both so strong. And you look at the Roughriders, and people are wondering about the defensive line because of the turnover there. We've already talked about the special teams. There's some questions to be answered there, but by and large, you go through the Rider roster, and where is there a weakness? But you can say the same thing about BC, and you can go through the division. It's just like, yeah, these teams should all be better. Now, it can't happen that way, but I don't know how to make a case against a team in the West at this point not being improved, as illogical as that might sound.
Really curious on Mayor in Ottawa and how long that lasts, and if that does last, and if that does stick, and just Ottawa in general out east. But I think, Hamilton, how they looked last year as well. Obviously Montreal's right there. Toronto's got a tough schedule to kind of get through.
Yeah, I mean there's such an inequity between home games and away games there.
Yeah.
And the unknown is how is Chad Kelly being away from the game basically a year and a half. How is he going to play? If he can recapture that 2023 form, their ascent could be meteoric given the importance of quarterbacking in this league. And hey, they won a Grey Cup without Chad Kelly, with Nick Arbuckle behind center. But when you're talking about
I think Dinwiddie is a huge loss.
Dinwiddie is a big loss for Toronto and a big gain for Ottawa. But Ottawa just decided recently who their starting quarterback is going to be. I think there's more certainty, and there has been more certainty in Toronto, presuming that Chad Kelly is close to 100%, if not 100%. And he showed during the preseason they still got the mobility, and that allayed some concerns. So that Toronto, some people might be underrating Toronto based upon the presence of Chad Kelly at such an important position.
I'm curious if Terry Wilson will emerge anywhere.
I wonder. That was such
as the season goes on, like we talked about with injuries and everything, right?
Yeah, and given the importance of that position, I don't understand the circumstances.
No one does.
Coming out of Winnipeg, there's never
talking to Ken Wiebe tomorrow. Maybe he can shed some light.
Yeah. Winnipeg went into their preseason game against the Roughriders with only 3 quarterbacks. Period. Usually at that time of year, there's at least 4.
Yeah.
And but they were short-staffed even in the preseason because they lost 2 quarterbacks. Bang bang.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're very, very fortunate that number 1 is Zach Claros, and I'm really intrigued to see how Taylor Elgersma is going to evolve over the years. And there's speculation now. Where does Drew Brown end up? Does he end up back in Winnipeg at some point? But Ottawa's got a bit of a luxury there because they've got 2 who can play, and that's a nice luxury to have.
Well, McLeod Bethel Thompson still floating out there somewhere. As
you wonder.
Curtis is big. Curtis has a jersey. He's a fan.
I love watching him throw the football. He's got him and Trevor Harris were teammates in Sacramento in 2011, and one of their teammates was a running back named John David Washington, whose father, you may have heard of him, Denzel Washington.
Wow. Heard of that guy, yeah. He's a famous actor. He's on the Beachcombers.
So there's a bit of McLeod Bethel Thompson Trevor Harris trivia for you.
Dean's got a question here. With the recent passing of Dale West, does he know how many of the 66 Grey Cup champion team are still alive?
6 star. There's only 6 starters still alive.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a tough question. You can't stump this guy.
Yeah, Don Banuk, who played in one playoff game in '66. Don is residing in Edmonton, in great health, terrific person. But as far as starters go, we've all but 6 are gone now. It's hard to believe. I remember the reunion, the 40th anniversary reunion 20 years ago, this month actually, and there was such a robust turnout there. And when they held the reunion in 2006, all 3 of the coaches were still alive. Eagle Keys, Jack Gotta, and Jim Duncan. And we've lost so many of those great players, those great people, and very sad to hear about Dale West.
We'll go to break. We got a little bit of time. We're going to do Pumpjacks Cathedral Trivia, and I want to get your take on the Stanley Cup final. And I think you probably along the way have interviewed and talked to Kelly McCrimmon. So let's go to break. We'll come back.
Dating back to the SJHL, actually.
We'll talk some hockey with Rob Vanstone. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
He's a Saskatchewan Roughrider legend, a Grey Cup champion, and part of the Sports Cage. Catch Double Talk with Darian Durand every Monday on the Sports Cage. Doubles is talking all things CFL and Riders like only he can. Double Talk is brought to you by Dutch Agriculture, quality for generations. Catch it live Mondays, just after 5, or check out the podcast at sportscage.com.
Thinking about tackling your own landscape project this year, but not totally sure where to start? Hi, I'm Sean from the Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. We work with DIY homeowners every day, helping you figure out what to use, how it all goes together, and how to avoid the stuff that can trip you up. Whether it's a patio, artificial turf, sprinklers, or adding some lighting, we'll help you make the right calls. Let's build a plan together. Great projects start at the shovel. The Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. 2 green thumbs up.
Winter in Saskatchewan tests everything, our patience, vehicles, and sometimes our bumpers. From icy parking lot dings to serious highway mishaps, choosing local matters. At Regina Motor Products Collision Center, we're Saskatchewan owned, run, and we drive these roads too. An SGI accredited full-service collision center working on all makes and models. Submit your SGI claim and book your appraisal. It's easy. When you need repairs you can trust, it's neighbors helping neighbors. Regina Motor Products Collision Center, south at Highways 1 and 6 Albert Street, rmpchevrolet.com.
The summer farm season provides a landscape full of opportunity with Ritchie Brothers. Our sales schedule runs from June 9th through August 12th, with 35 exclusive farm auctions spread across Western Canada, bringing you fertile land and quality equipment ripe for the picking. When the fields are at their best, it's time to tap into farm country. Get started today at rbauction.com/agriculture. Once again, that's rbauction.com/agriculture.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
Oh yeah, Game 1, Stanley Cup Final tonight. It is in Carolina, Las Vegas, in town. Vegas had 12 wins in the regular season over playoff teams. 2 were against Carolina. 6 p.m. or in around there is puck drop. Other news from the National Hockey League. Nashville Predators have hired Chris McFarland as president of hockey operations and general manager. Also, it sounds like Jared Bednar is staying put as head coach in Colorado with the Avalanche. Western Canadian Baseball League tonight, Weyburn's at Moose Jaw. Saskatoon's in town to take on the Regina Red Sox. Medicine Hat at Swift Current. And the Blue Jays are at the Atlanta Braves, 5:15. Sportscage.com poll today. Are you happy with the Rough Riders roster? Vote at sportscage.com. It's for Reliance Heath. At about $1.20 a day, you can get a water heater and softener together, also known as softener. Find out more at Reliance Heath. Kelly McCrimmon. Now, we interviewed him on the Monday Nooner. It was such a treat. And his story, and I know he's kind of in hot water, and Vegas is kind of public enemy number 1 now. Remember they were like the soft and like, not the soft, they were the fun story that first year. It's like, wow, look at this.
Except for Jets fans.
Yeah, look at this little train and what it's doing. And now people are like, ugh. Because of the Bruce Cassidy thing, let's be honest, and it's a look that it's their right to do, and Eric Francis and I have talked about that a lot. But Kelly McCrimmon and what he's been able to do in Las Vegas is phenomenal.
It really is. And, Kelly has always thought, if Kelly was an avid chess player, he would be a world champion. He's always thought 3 moves ahead. Kelly, in the Western Hockey League, he realized and grasped the importance of the Bantam draft. I think the first one was in 1990. And he realized it and used it better earlier than anybody. And he basically he established pretty early on. He understands it. He gets it. Whatever level of hockey he's at, he's on the cutting edge of it, and probably about 3 or 4 or 5 moves ahead of everybody else. It's not surprising that he's had the success that he's had in the National Hockey League. I saw this in the Western Hockey League, and many a year.
Carter
Plenty,
Hart.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah. And I remember when he interviewed, he said he was the last player before the whole new thing that came down with NCAA. He was the last player to go WHL NCAA, and because he went to the University of Michigan from Brandon, which
once upon, like Red Berenson, I think once upon a time played for the Pats, and then played college hockey, and there were a few who did, but now we're seeing that system in a bit of a different context.
Do you have you watched much of the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I can't say that I have, not out of disinterest, but the television's broken. You and Curtis should have got a 2-for-1 deal. I should have gotten your one from the hallway.
Yes.
Fort McMurray?
Yes.
Can you get me another salvage television?
Possibly.
Hey, look at the Rob and Curtis. We should video it just going through apartment buildings.
I'll tell you what, you could have the TV on odd numbered days and I'll have it on even. It was on a very flimsy stand. We had an upstairs TV, and it was on a very flimsy stand, and went to shut the drawer, and the TV fell over and the screen cracked.
Oh.
And my wife's away, and I can't figure out how to work the remote control on the downstairs TV. So, again, radio is a wonderful medium. That's how I'm following the Stanley Cup playoffs. Happy anniversary, CK era.
All right. It's time for, we'll see if Rob can get this too. But it's time for Pumpjacks Cathedral Trivia.
It's time for Sportscage Trivia for Pumpjacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
Okay, 936-6262. You got to call right now. I should have mentioned that before. I apologize. 936-6262. You know the area code, 306. Also, toll-free, 1-866-767-0620. If someone wants to win $50 to Pumpjacks Cathedral Trivia, and if it goes a little bit long, we'll take it into news and we'll get them on the other side. Okay, here's the question. Rob, don't answer it out. Let's wait till break. But who is the all-time leading scorer in Las Vegas Golden Knights history? 936-6262. $50. And if you don't win, if you haven't won in the last 30 days, on 620 CKRM, even if you don't win, you get a free lunch to Pumpjacks Cathedral. Free house.
Who would that be?
Once I say it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
I mean, this has got to be a hockey player that's even more dynamic than Barney Shinkaruk.
Definitely more beer league over here guy. Cherry picking. It's isn't it crazy? 3 Stanley Cup finals in 9 years.
And as a Jets fan, just wanting this to happen in my lifetime. And where the President's Trophy went nowhere last year, and then Vegas comes in and kaboom, 3 Stanley Cup finals, 1 Stanley Cup victory, possibly another one around the corner. But again, that's what happens when Kelly McCrimmon is in charge of your hockey operation.
We're up against news, so we're going to get this on the back half right after news. Before we get into Arash Madani, we'll take our caller for Pumpjacks Cathedral Trivia. Rob, thanks so much for doing this again.
No problem.
On a bye week.
It's such a pleasure. It was great. I'm just hanging out with the dog. We're going to go to the Red Sox game tonight. So it's going to be thanks for being part of Candy's agenda and for accommodating her and her enabler. I appreciate that.
Always a pleasure. And again, congratulations on the ring.
Thank you. The ring is nice and I treasure it, but I could also use a free TV, Curtis.
I'll work on it.
Trade. Rob,
it's not a trade.
Basically what Rob's saying, he's into interesting trades, looking for a TV. It's a Sports Cage. We're back after the news.
Proudly broadcasting from Treaty 4 territory, the homeland of the Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, Saulteaux, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We are 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station.
It's 4 p.m. Good afternoon, mostly cloudy and 21 degrees in Regina. I'm Denis Conroy from the Sask Today newsroom with 620 CKRM News. Saskatoon police are investigating after a bear spray attack on a city bus late Sunday night sent passengers into distress and prompted a medical response. Around 11:30 p.m. on June 1st, officers were called to Diefenbaker Drive and Veneer Crescent. Police say a man exited the bus, then turned back and sprayed two people before running north through an alley. Investigators believe the suspect and victims knew each other. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. A fatal shooting in Pelican Narrows has led to school and band office closures for the rest of the week. Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation says one person was killed and another injured near a health clinic. Residents were under a shelter-in-place order for nearly 6 hours while RCMP responded with an investigation ongoing. Today, Inspector Ashley St. Germain, RCMP Saskatchewan Senior Investigative Officer, was at a media conference with an update.
They determined 2 adults were injured by a person with a firearm. These 2 individuals were injured at 2 separate locations on the same road, a short distance away from each other.
A suspect is in custody, but RCMP are not releasing names. The health clinic is operating on a limited basis for urgent care. The investigation continues. The RM of Shellbrook has lifted the Lobstick wildfire evacuation order, allowing residents to return home. Officials say crews are still working in some areas and caution is advised. Firefighters report steady progress with most fire activity reduced, while containment and hotspot work continues. A cancer fundraising cyclist is still making her way across Saskatchewan after a stop in Regina last week. Winnipeg's Maddie Kennedy rolled into the Queen City on Friday during her nearly 6,000-kilometer ride across Canada, raising money for the Canadian Cancer Society. Inspired by her mother's battle with breast cancer, Kennedy is aiming to raise $1 million while cycling from Halifax to Vancouver. She'll spend the next several days crossing western Saskatchewan before continuing toward Alberta and the Rockies. Regina is seeing a jump in mosquito numbers after a stretch of warm, wet weather created ideal breeding conditions. City officials say about 200 mosquitoes were collected in traps last week, well above the seasonal average. Parks manager Ashley Thompson says rising temperatures sped up larval growth across 12 monitoring sites. While the spike is noticeable, officials expect counts to level off unless more heavy rain arrives. Residents are being advised to use repellents and wear protective clothing outdoors. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina.
Weather tonight, looking for cloudy sky and a low down to 8 degrees. Tomorrow, spotty afternoon showers in the area. Only a high up to 20. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, a low down to 9. Looking ahead to Thursday, partly sunny sky, a high of 20. Friday looks nice, mostly sunny, and a high of 24. Saturday, sunny and a high of 29. Currently in downtown Regina, we have cloudy sky. It is 20 degrees.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings. 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Always a great segment with Rob Vanstone. That was a fun hour. as we continue here. If you missed any of it, you can go back and listen to it in podcast form, of course, for Freeze Tallman Lumber. The show on this Tuesday is for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Get your Rider Scratch ticket. Neither of the $75,000 prizes at last check the other day had been won. So those are still out there. Lots of the Rider Swag ones have been won. But yeah, support. And then once they're gone, they're gone. Supporting sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan. Thanks to Pat, Kaylee, Kim, and Reed on the Prairie Land Rentals text line saying they enjoyed the chat with Rob Vanstone. Isn't he something else? And his memory. I thought whoever asked the question there, I think it was Dean, about how many of the 66 teams are still alive. And he's like, 6 starters, right? Didn't even flinch. Solid stuff from Rider historian Rob Vanstone in this hour. We got Arash Madani coming up in a bit, and then we will talk to Jock Wilson from the Calgary Stampeders broadcast team. We'll see how things look out in Calgary with the Stampeders. But we got him waiting on the line. Dean? Dan McKenna joining us for Pumpjacks Cathedral Trivia. How many times do you get asked if you're related to Gavin?
Lots, actually.
Yeah, just start lying to people, saying, "Oh yeah, he's my nephew. I'm going wherever he goes." All right, Dan. Question was, who is the all-time leading scorer for the Las Vegas Golden Knights?
Jonathan Marchessault.
You got it. I knew there wasn't anything, especially as we had the little... Did the break help with news? Did you get a chance to look that up, or did you know it? Don't lie to me.
No, I looked it up.
Hey, whatever. We didn't make any rules that said you can't do that, so you're all good. Stay on the line. Curtis is going to... first off, answer this question. Who do you got, Vegas or Carolina?
Ooh, I think Vegas will pull through.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of text messages here with people giving in their predictions. Okay, stay on the line. Thanks for playing. You got $50 to Pumpjacks Cathedral Trivia. 13th and Albert, live music on the weekends. Great place to go before or after a game, after work. Don't sleep on the chicken strips or the Kerwin crispy ribs. Nice draft selection, wine selection. Pumpjacks Cathedral, $50 to Dano there. No Arash yet. We're still wait where we are. We do have Arash. Before we get to Arash, I want to say I got to get some of these predictions in. Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262. I asked, who do people got? Stanley Cup final. TJ in Davidson. Here's a question for you, TJ, if you're still listening. Which is your favorite Oriental food in Davidson? That's my debate now. We love... I hit the one on the one side of the highway there, and Snipe's mom and dad like the one downtown. It's a big controversy in Davidson. But TJ in Davidson says Carolina in 5. Stall for the Conn Smythe. Let's keep this text message, because if that happens, that is off the board. Kevin, regular, here says, think I'm on the Vegas train in 6. Not very confident in it, though. And Marner wins the Conn Smythe. Game 1 tonight is huge. Is a huge determining factor in the series win. Rose, I asked Rose to text in. Rose texted in. Awesome, Rose. I have no skin in the game, however. I'm glad Marner landed on his blades in Vegas. Conn Smythe, ? And a plug for Saskatchewan. Rob Brindamore attended Notre Dame and Wilcox. Yes, he did. But Vegas has 2 Saskatchewan natives on their team. In Braden McNabb from beautiful town of Davidson. And also Kelly McCrimmon as the GM. So depends where you want to go there. Who else here? Randy thinks Vegas in 7. Sue thinks Carolina in 6. Gerald likes Carolina in 6. You can keep him coming. Gord likes Vegas in a sweep. Oh, Gord, that's putting him on the line right there. 936-6262, the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Let's go chat with Arash Madani.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for smart investing solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Hey, buddy. What's up? How was the weekend? Okay, we're going to get to NHL in a bit, some CFL in a bit, but yesterday, NFL news. I was like, I look at the screen and I'm got ESPN up there, and I'm like, oh, Myles Garrett. I'm like, to the Rams? I'm like, oh, Mom, I like that.
How about, we'll get to that in one sec, Barney. How about your training camp starts in July, preseason games August, season September to February, free agency March, draft in April, and on June 1st, with the Stanley Cup final and the NBA finals about to get underway, the NFL still dominates the marquee. Isn't that wild?
Huge. The NFL is king. There's no
juggernaut, you know.
But who's the most happy that Myles Garrett is going to Los Angeles? Is it Los Angeles fans, or is it like Burrow in Cincy? Maybe who's the most happy here?
Yeah, I would think the division opponents that don't have to face him twice a year, Lamar.
Yeah.
You know, won't have Myles Garrett running after him.
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, how long is that guy going to last as a starter anyway? There's going for it, and then there's going all in, and then put both of those things in a blender, and that's what the Rams have done here. You know, they trade for Trent McDuffie, the top defensive back in the AFC, and they give him all the money. Now they go out and do this and shore up their defense. Like, a lot of people were wondering, hey, you know, the Rams go draft Ty Simpson. What does that say about their confidence in Matthew Stafford? I think this is actually showing they have all the confidence in the world in Matthew Stafford, because they're saying, all right, we're building this entire thing for now, right now.
It's yeah. I don't know. I'd like to know what the odds changed. How much I don't know if you've heard how much they changed.
I haven't. And you think about it, like last year on a bizarre Thursday night, the Seahawks somehow beat the Rams. The NFC Championship game couldn't have been closer with Seattle and LA. Like, Sean McVay is a crazy man, and those two losses must still be like gnawing at him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Here's what's interesting too, Barney. Like, is anyone talking about Seattle? They're the defending champs. And it's like, all right, AJ Brown's gone to the Patriots. Myles Garrett's gone to the Rams.
Sports Select has the Rams 625.
Okay.
They are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Followed by, there's two teams actually at 10-1. I don't think I would have got this correct.
What do you got?
I'm asking you. Guess.
So Rams are the betting favorite, and then I have to think Seattle's still there.
Seattle's at 11. Seattle's at 11. There's two teams 10-1 that they got at Sports Select.
Kansas City, Buffalo?
Buffalo's one of them.
New England, I guess.
No. That's why I'm like
Denver.
No.
It's gotta be. No, what? What is happening?
Somebody just texted in the Broncos. No. Sports Select is kind of throwing us for a loop here. I might have to check the other sites.
Well, hold up. Not Kansas City, not Buffalo, not New England, not Denver.
No.
What am I missing?
I know.
Not the Cincinnati Bengals.
No.
Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know. What happened? Did the Ravens just sign somebody? Did we miss something?
I've missed a memo somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
I got to even take the Chargers. What were the Chargers there, Curtis? Was it 15.5 to 1? Did I just see?
Yep.
That to me for AFC value is a play. How are the Eagles 16.5?
Yeah.
There's some real
noodle scratcher.
Meat on the bone there.
Yeah, you can go to like division winners and all that and get into the weeds of sports like. But AJ Brown, like inevitable, he was moving on from Philly. We all knew that. And then you mentioned it. People have been talking about it for a long time. That New England was the spot. Now, me as a New England fan, I'm like, okay, but we'll see if it happens. Now it happens. Why should I be excited?
Well, because he's a home run hitter. There are very few A.J. Browns in the league. He is in the prime of his career. He's won a Super Bowl. He takes the top off the defense. He's got a heck of a set of hands. He's explosive. And now this just opens up the entire field for the Patriots. And I think this is important, he knows Mike Vrabel, and Mike Vrabel knows him. Remember, it was when Vrabel was the head coach in Tennessee that they drafted Brown in the second round. They worked together for a few years. Vrabel was livid when A.J. Brown got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so everybody knows what they're getting themselves into here, and everybody seems cool with it.
You know what I heard Dan Orlovsky say today? And it was just kind of an in the weeds thing, and I'm like, okay, I like that as a Patriots fan. He said, former quarterback, right? And he knows. He goes, A.J. Brown is a man-to-man defense killer. And then he went through a lot of the teams that the Patriots are going to play that love playing man-to-man. And he's like, this is a big problem for everybody that New England's going to face. He went as far as saying he thinks the Patriots in the AFC might have the best receiving core now around the yard, and that Drake May loves to air it out.
Oh, he loves to heave it. There's no question. I put New England and the Houston Texans right there when it comes to receiving core. And obviously Stroud likes to sling it too. Look, New England's just went from having the easiest schedule in the league to one of the most difficult. So now it gets real for them.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But it's also year 3 of Drake May. So, look, it was a dreadful game, the Super Bowl. But if A.J. Brown, fans and butts for candies and nuts, what a Merry Christmas it would be. If A.J. Brown was a Patriot that night, are we talking about a different result for a world championship?
No.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
They were outclassed even with that. A.J. Brown and Randy Moss, maybe. And Gronk.
And Gronk.
Oh, wow, you can't. Who says you can't go home? Awful song by Sugarland or whoever sang that.
Or whomever sang
that. But Odell Beckham, let's go. Get back to NYC. Get back to the Meadowlands.
I mean, he played for John Harbaugh in Baltimore. Talk about knowing what you're getting yourself into in New York with the coach, etc. You have Jackson Dart as your quarterback. Now you bring in a receiver to kind of show him the way. I believe, did I see Juju Smith-Schuster also sign with the Giants? I think so. I tell you what, I think it's really smart to bring veteran receivers in with Malik Neighbors coming off the ACL to add some professionalism for a young offensive locker room. You think about it, Barney. Jackson Dart in year 2, Neighbors effectively in year 2 after the ACL, Scattaboo coming off the injury. Vets who've been through it, a guy like Smith-Schuster who's won. It matters.
What week do they charter the yacht? When do we get a second yacht picture though? That's what we need. That's what people want. I want the picture
Only
on the
if
yacht.
they start 4-1.
That's when things went downhill for that franchise. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was a long time ago. Yeah, Juju signing with the Giants. I missed that coming down a little while ago. But yeah, like NFL steals the show. And is there another big piece you're waiting to fall in the NFL?
I mean, I didn't know the Myles Garrett thing was going to fall. I guess that was all hinging on whether or not the Rams were willing to part ways with Jared Verse. I mean, it's a huge price that LA spent to go get him. You know, Verse is a top 10 pick equivalent, another first, a second, and a third. So who's left to move at this stage of the game? I don't know. I don't know.
What should Cleveland fans do? Like, what do you do at this point if you're a Cleveland Browns fan? Hope the Indians have a good season? Or the Guardians, whatever they're called?
Guardians. You know, I think the insult to injury of all this, if you're a Browns fan, is that it looks like Deshaun Watson might start opening day as quarterback. Like, after all this, like, what are you hoping here? That Watson's going to kind of ball out for 6 weeks and then maybe you can trade him and get another pick for him? I just don't know what they're doing organizationally. You know, why? If this was the case, if this is what you're going to do, why'd you fire Kevin Stefanski as the coach to begin with? It just doesn't add up.
Ay. Cleveland. Okay, let's go CFL. Opening week for the Canadian Football League. So many storylines. I want to go to the East first. And again, good on you. You called it all winter. You said there was no way the Ottawa Redblacks could begin the year with Drew Brown at quarterback. You were correct. What else should we be watching for?
To me, the entire East Division hinges on the health, the hamstring health of Davis Alexander. Like, Montreal, yeah, they got to the Grey Cup, but Alexander is it for them. He's dynamic. He can run. He can throw on the run. He's the epitome of franchise quarterback, because if he isn't in the mix, then what? You know, there's only one quarterback right now who could end up, you know, from the couch to the field, and that's McLeod Bethel-Thompson. And the Alouettes have already gone down that road before, and they've shown they're willing to go bring a kid who used to play at Laval before they're going to bring MBT into the mix. So to me, the entire East goes through Montreal, but, and it's a big caveat, can Davis Alexander stay healthy? And if he can, the Alouettes are in really good shape. Otherwise, to me, this is going to be the Ticats' year to get back to a Grey Cup.
Terry Wilson just called and said, "What about me, Arash? Why doesn't somebody call me?"
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of get the Terry Wilson thing. Like, you're Terry Wilson at this stage of your career. First of all, last year the Blue Bombers decided Chris Streveler is ahead of him on the depth chart. So you're number 3. You're telling me I'm not better than Chris Streveler? Okay. Now you come to camp, and this rookie from U Sports is number 2 on the depth chart. You're telling me I'm number 3. Well, at that point, what am I doing here? If you don't even, you know, view me as any kind of competition to anyone after all this time, well, hopefully somebody else is going to take a look, because, you know, organizationally, you guys don't think highly enough of me to put me in a position to compete.
I'm talking to the great Kenny Weeb tomorrow. We're going to do a little preview of the Beautiful. Winnipeg Blue Bomber. He's been covering the Bombers. What do you think there? Because they're an older team. They're a smoke. It seemed like we smoke in the locker room kind of team. That's how old they are.
Yes, that's totally the vibe. Like, you think about what made the Blue Bombers a really good team. Let's say coming out of COVID. Forget even the championship in 19. Okay, so it was Stanley Bryant at left tackle. It was Patty Neufeld in the middle of that offensive line. It was Zach Collaros at quarterback. It was Nick Dembski at receiver. It was Brady Oliveira carrying the mail, running the football. On the defensive side, it was your boy, Willie Jefferson, Barney.
Mm-hmm. Shout out.
And now
Silver
here we
Heights.
are, of course. Now here we are 5-6 years later, and we're like, it's still all those guys. And they didn't look good last year. They looked old. Now, Zach's come out and said, I feel rejuvenated. I feel better. The guys on the team say it's a different looking Collaros. Great. But I just wonder about an 18-game season. Like, a lot of people listening, watching right now, they're just doing their spring cleaning and getting their yards ready and dusting off the golf clubs. Think about when you're putting everything away for the winter. It's a long time from now. That's when the Blue Bomber season's going to wrap up. At what shape are all of those dudes going to be in?
We all feel good those first few beer league games or first beer league game. It's like, oh yeah, I'm rejuvenated. Oh, hold the phone.
Yes.
My body's breaking down. Okay, give me a quick. Write this down, Curtis. I don't know if Coulson left his leather-bound notebook, but we have one here for predictions like this. We are going to get from Arash Madani his on this June 2nd Grey Cup prediction.
The BC Lions, led by Nathan Rourke, will face the Hamilton Tiger Cats in what will be the last game Bo Levi Mitchell plays in the Canadian Football League. And coming into that Grey Cup game, we're going to be talking about Bo Levi and Kenny Lawler being one of the best 1-2 punches, Batman, Robin in the league this season.
You're not just giving us a predict. You're going deep on this hot take. If you could hear it, Jeffrey just smashed his radio in Calgary. When he said that, you could hear it. Okay, give me. What do you think of this NHL playoff season or the Stanley Cup final?
Stanley Cup, the playoff season, the Stanley Cup final.
I was reading something here. Stanley Cup final.
Look, I live in Toronto. The practice facility is around the corner from where I'm standing. Only in Toronto are Freddie Anderson and Mitch Marner, the two dudes that they ran out of town, playing in the Stanley Cup against one another. When Barney, the Leafs, who end up with the first overall pick, that's how bad their season was. What they could have used all season was some really good goaltending and some offensive firepower. I just find that amazing.
Is it? I don't remember the Freddie Anderson in Toronto debacle, but now we're starting to hear more. Just quickly enlighten us. Like, what was?
Here's the problem with this market. Everybody gets scapegoated. They're looking for one or two people to pick on that, they're the problem. It's like, there's something wrong in the foundation of the house. It's not a leaky faucet. And yet here, it's all about the drip, drip, drip. Also, I mean, it's the move of all moves, and that nobody probably saw coming, especially after the Olympic break. But what a move Kelly McCrimmon made, moving on from Bruce Cassidy and bringing Torts in. Like this meteoric rise from the Golden Knights since.
Okay, we got 35 seconds here, and I got it up for entertainment purposes only, kind of.
Yes.
I'm letting you roll with me tonight on this one. We're doing a parlay. Two guys that are going to get at least 1 point in game one.
I'm going with Mitch Martiner. And who else am I going to go with?
Logan Stankoven? Let's go Stankoven.
Let's go Stankoven.
Let's go Kamloops Blazers. Okay. 240 are our odds. And wink, for fun only. Entertainment purposes only. Okay, so watch tonight. If Marner gets a point and Stankoven gets a point, virtual fist pump, you and me.
The other guy to like, if we really want to get greedy, Jack Eichel's on one, isn't he?
His odds stink though, but yeah, you'd have to kind of parlay him with somebody that might not. But no, I agree. Okay, Thursday. Is it lemon meringue day Thursday? Because then I'm gone next week. Sharky's with me on Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. Right on. See you, buddy.
All right.
Coast to Coast with Arash Madani, brought to you by Brian Golly. Smart investing solutions. Be smart with your money. Call on Brian Golly. Sportscage, we're going to come back with a clutch performer streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
Hi, it's Perry Nias. Somewhere out there, someone else is listening to CKRM, and they heard the same moments you did. That's what we've been for 100 years, a shared memory across Saskatchewan. And here's the fun part. When you share your memory, it might bring back someone else's, or surprise you both. So if CKRM was ever part of your life, we'd love to hear it. Leave us a voicemail at 306-546-6230. 620 CKRM. 100 years of memories, and still counting.
You know that Extreme Hockey and Sport has everything you need for hockey, but spring is just around the corner. They're thinking baseball. Be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products all in stock. And let's not forget about lacrosse. Don't let spring throw you a curveball. Be ready with Extreme Hockey and Sport, locally owned, community focused, 1425 McIntyre Street at the Cooperator Center, now in Moose Jaw, and online at extremehockey.net.
Gordon tells us why he called Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions.
Well, actually, we heard Brian's commercial on CKRM, and at the time I was just retiring, so I was looking for a financial advisor. I would recommend my family, friends, or anybody to contact Brian. He's a super knowledgeable fella.
Don't guess with your money. Call Brian at 306-546-2533. SmartInvestingSolutions.ca.
The summer farm season provides a landscape full of opportunity with Ritchie Brothers. Our sales schedule runs from June 9th through August 12th, with 35 exclusive farm auctions spread across Western Canada, bringing you fertile land and quality equipment ripe for the picking. When the fields are at their best, it's time to tap into farm country. Get started today at rbauction.com/agriculture. Once again, that's rbauction.com/agriculture.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR 260010.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Clutch Performer. I just got to say, someone texted this in a little while. Rod Brindamore, Carolina Hurricanes. It's hard to believe I saw the picture today, 20 years later. It was him hoisting the Stanley Cup, and then he's back as a coach. Notre Dame, Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Not from Sasky, but he went there. Man, that guy's a dude. Guy's a baller. Also, my clutch performer, everybody out there that's cutting their lawns. I'm driving around the city. Did I miss something? Like, there are so many lawns 2 feet in areas. That's bad for mice and stuff. And then someone was saying that you shouldn't cut your lawns early because of insects and all that. I think somebody on my street was saying that, and he got called a hippie. But I don't know what is. Can we? When does a city get involved? When your neighbor's lawn is like 2.5 feet. I don't have that problem. But everyone that's cutting their lawn, doing their best to not look slobbish, you're my clutch performer today for Kellen Solar, Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Family-run company. Get solar on your house, your farm, your cottage. They can help you out. Save some money with some solar. Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Okay, here we go. We're we'll go to break. We come back. He's waiting for us. On the other side, Jock Wilson giving us a preview on the Calgary Stampeders this year. Stay tuned. It's a Sports Cage on the 100-year-old 620 CKRM.
Oh, the guys at Coffee Row all had different hail plans. Yeah, some say loyalty matters, some say read the fine print.
Palliser.
You ever ask around?
No.
Yeah, that's simpler.
What else is there to talk about? Palliser Insurance. Call your trusted agent today or buy online at your convenience. Visit palliserinsurance.com. Anywhere, anytime.
Spring's finally here.
Spring in Regina? I'll believe it when I'm sitting on a patio.
Then let's get to Pumpjacks. Patio's open.
Open now?
Yep, Sunday brunch, daily food, and drink specials.
Hold on, brunch and a patio?
And weekly live entertainment.
All right, that's not spring. That's a lifestyle.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pumpjacks Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
If you're getting the cottage ready for summer, make it easy with lakeside deliveries from Freeze Tallman. Whether you're refreshing the deck, fixing up the dock, or tackling a full project, Freeze Tallman delivers your building materials right to your cottage. Exceptional service, reliable delivery, and the convenience of knowing your project is their top priority. Less running around, more time at the lake. Visit freezetallman.com. Freeze Tallman. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years.
Welcome back to Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
CFL West preview number 1. He's standing by on the line. We're going to the host city of the Grey Cup. Okay, our old friend from Calgary joining us, like I said, Jock Wilson from the Stampeder Broadcast Network. Jock, let's start here. How was camp? How was everything for the Stampeders? I'm sure you guys got a mixed bag of weather out there as well. How was camp as a whole?
You know what? It's training camp, for God's sake, boys. It's, bring on the regular season. I'm more excited about that. I will tell you this, from a Calgary Stampeder perspective, don't sleep on the red and white. This is a veteran team. This is a team that brought basically everybody back from last season. I'm trying to figure out the sports books. There's no one in the country right now, at least not many people in the country, that are giving the Calgary Stampeders, much of a chance. I've seen a lot of these power rankings, and I don't know what these dudes are smoking, because if you look at this Calgary Stampeder team, even some of the sports books are saying, 8.5 wins. Will the Stampeders get over 8.5 wins? Man, I would go to my grave thinking that there is no chance this team is going to win less than 8 games. So I will say this. Offensively, basically all the weapons are back. Yeah, Mario Alford, he went to the NFL. Don't worry, the Stampeders replaced him with Dejan Brissett. Their offensive line is even better because of the return of Bryce Bell. You look at the defensive line, it may be the best defensive line in the Canadian Football League. I know people in Regina may argue that, but with the return of Jalen Hutchings from the NFL, who the Stampeders just gave a 3-year contract, you've got one of the top young pass rushers in Clarence Hicks, who's predicting he's going to get 20 sacks this year. And, you have Flo Orimolade returning from his torn Achilles. You add in Miles Brown. That is arguably the best defensive line in the Canadian Football League.
Okay, you covered a lot there from the initial question. First off, I might be running to Sports Select under the futures and taking this over 8.5. You got me excited about that. That's just for financial purposes. I'm still green and white, you know that, but you guys got to be smart once in a while as well. If someone gives them an inside track on a little line, so yeah, over 8.5 wins, paying $195. On Sports Select right now, and when you look at the Grey Cup winner, if you said it's a long shot, they're paying 9 to 1 on the stamp. So I like those odds. But yeah, let's get to the roster and then cuts. I know there were some surprising cuts here in Sasky. We've covered that, and we're still covering that here. I think I read returner Kaylon Horton was one of the surprising ones from the stamps. But from your lens, I guess, Jock, were there any surprises for you?
I wouldn't even consider Kaylon Horton a surprise. Yes, he's got some experience, but the fact of the matter is the Stampeders went out and they improved their return game with the signing of Tyreek McAllister. So a much better returner when it is all said and done. Now, the only thing that can derail the Calgary Stampeders is injuries. And that's what derailed the Stampeders last year because, Reggie Begelton goes down early. Markel Lee goes down early. Flo Orimolade, he blows out his Achilles. Josh Coker on the offensive line, he had a serious injury. And I think if you look at training camp, guys, the biggest thing that happened this year, again, on the defensive line, a couple of your Canadian players in Justin Sambu, he's done for the season. Daniel Joseph, who again, wears that national tag, which is really, really important. It does lower the depth, from a Canadian perspective. You still, have a guy like Keelan Thomas who is so raw, but, he can be effective, but you just don't have the same Canadian depth on the defensive line. I had Coach Dickinson on my show last night, and I asked Coach Dickinson, I said, in your opinion, where has this team improved the most? And it surprised me a little bit. He said the linebacking core. And that's after losing Jacob Roberts to the NFL and the Vikings. But, Kyle Wilson, who's a veteran, came from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He has had a really, really good camp. Markel Lee is healthy, at that middle linebacker position. And then you got the veteran, Derek Moncrief, who, of course, still lives in Regina last time I checked. He is a stud and one of the leaders on the defensive side of the ball and one of the team captains. So, injuries can certainly hurt you. And in the training camp game, the final game against Edmonton, they did lose Sheldon Arnold in the secondary. So that's a gut punch for this organization because they had two of the good young halfbacks last year in Grant and Arnold. So you lose Arnold. He's going to be on the sixth game to start the season. But it looks like you're going to get Damon Webb back, in the safety position. And, Adrian Green at the corner. And Anthony Johnson had really good seasons last year. So I think ultimately it's a very good-looking defense and a defense that I think is going to do some damage this year.
You talk about injuries, right? And I think you and I have talked about it before. We always talk about, right, like the CFL, it is, like next man up. And is that next man going to be able to fill it, especially at the quarterback position? I saw on the weekend Josh Love had another nice game in the second preseason game. He was 7 of 8, 80 yards. Josh, I get a little bit of I don't want to maybe a Davis Alexander feel from years before when people were like, "Hey, watch out for this guy." What's your take on Love?
Yeah, a best case scenario, he doesn't hit the field all year and Vernon Adams stays healthy. But we know that's a wild card because Vernon Adams, I can't remember the last time he played all 18 games in a season. So, you're going to need something from your backup quarterback. P.K. Walker, who was here last year, came in with the NFL pedigree, and everybody was high on him. And he sort of struggled for the Canadian game, and then he had the serious injury, so he was gone. Josh Love, Dave Dickinson is very high on him because he's not a snot-nosed rookie. He's got a year of CFL experience under his belt. Dave Dickinson, loves his game right now. He was very impressed with that game against, the Edmonton Elks at Clark Stadium on Friday night. So, there will be a little bit of pressure on him because his first preseason outing wasn't great. He was getting pushed by Ben Woolridge. But right now, it's Josh Love's job. And that's the guy, as I say, he's not a young guy. He's an older quarterback. He's got some UFL experience. So I think when it's all said and done, guys, you hope you don't see Josh Love because you'd rather have Vernon Adams play the entire season. But is that possible? Time will tell.
You mentioned Damien Alford. We're dealing with it here too. Dante Myers. It's one of those things we obviously always expect him back somewhere around Labor Day, if not sooner, if not a little bit later. What do you expect, Damien Alford? Do you expect him to stick down there?
Well, he's a specimen.
Yeah.
He's got the big wingspan. He's a tall body. He's a tree out there. But he was still very raw in the Canadian Football League last year. Yes, he had a couple of big games, the 1-3 touchdown game. So you can understand because of his size and his speed why the NFL likes him. So I'm not expecting him back right now. But I will say this, guys, the Stampeder receiving core is very, very solid. And this is why I say, I'm going to come across as a homer here, but don't sleep on this team because they got the killer bees. And I've sort of given them that nickname, that moniker, because once Reggie Begelton returns, and hopefully he can return to form. That was a very serious leg injury he had last year, broken leg, had pins put in his leg, and he's not quite ready to start the season. But, Eric Brooks is coming off a great season. Clark Barnes, if he can stay healthy, he's just in the young prime of his career right now. You've also got Dejon Brissett. So those are the killer bees. And then Jalen Philpott. Jalen Philpott had a healthy season last year, and a lot of people are predicting him to have a breakout season. Then you add Tevin Jones to the mix. So I think the Calgary Stampeders are in a real good position, even if Damien Alford does not return. They've got potentially, with Barnes, with Philpott, and with Brissett, 3 outstanding Canadian receivers.
If this was a video game and Coach Dickinson Dickinson was kind of looking around, what would be the one thing? What would be the one dream thing to add right now for the Stamps?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question because I think Dave Dickinson really, really likes his team. You've got Dietrich Mills, who won a rushing title last year in the Canadian Football League, so you're good in that position. You've added Tyreek McAllister for your return game. You've got some good Canadian receivers that I talked about. I guess the right tackle position is going to be an issue for this team, or maybe it will not be an issue. I talked about Josh Coker, who signed with the BC Lions, but he suffered a very serious injury at the end of last season. They had Preston Nichols penciled in at that right tackle position, and all of a sudden he goes down with an injury, and so it looks like William Barnes is going to be your starting right tackle to start the season. So if there is any weakness on this team, that's the position. And losing Sheldon Arnold at that weak boundary side corner halfback position, that's a little bit of a blow too. So that could be Godfrey Onyeka that fills that spot. That's another Canadian player that could fit into the roster. But I know the coach is a little concerned about his depth in the secondary. Even though the secondary is good, they don't have the depth.
Jock Wilson is joining us here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, part of the Calgary Stampeders broadcast team. What's the real expectation? I know our friend Jeffrey in Calgary, who listens every day, loves to stir it up on our text line. What are expectations from fans? Are we seeing an increase in season tickets? Obviously, the Grey Cup is there this year. What's the buzz around the city and the fans, if any, Jock?
Yeah, listen, there is expectations. Last year there were no expectations. They had 12 new starters on the defensive side of the ball. Revenues, were down from a season ticket perspective. So they had a lot of work to do. Last year they blew it up. They rebuilt the organization from top to bottom. They fired a bunch of coaches. They went out, were very aggressive on the free agent market. They made a couple of big trades, bringing in Flo Remalade, bringing in, Vernon Adams. And then they capped that off with an 11-win season and probably should have beaten the BC Lions in the Western semifinal, but they didn't. So, this team has not won a playoff game since they won the Cup in 2019. So the expectations are this team not only makes the playoffs, this team hosts a home playoff game, and if possible, gets into their home Grey Cup. That's how high the expectations are, and we'll see if they can live up to those expectations.
Would be something else for sure. What's your take on the rest of the West? Let's go with the West Division in the CFL, where you see it as we get ready for kickoff of the regular season this weekend.
Yeah, that is a great question. I'm doing my own sports talk with Jock CFL Power Rankings, tonight on the show. So I put a little bit of thought into this, and the West is going to be tough because I still have to put the BC Lions number one, and the only reason I do that is they got the best player in the game in Nathan Rourke. Now, can he beat the Riders? That's the question everybody is asking because that's been his kryptonite. He can't beat the Riders, whereas the Riders and Trevor Harris can't beat the Calgary Stampeders. So I'm going, okay, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that's how it plays out. But I certainly see the class of the Canadian Football League in Regina, in BC, and in Calgary. And then who's not going to make the playoffs? Is it going to be the Winnipeg Blue Bombers or is it going to be the Edmonton Elks? Now, for the second straight year, the Edmonton Elks have gone out. They were aggressive. They have really improved their offensive line, and that's going to be good for Cody Fajardo because Cody Fajardo was on his ass all of last year. He just couldn't stay upright, and he's a gamer. He's a competitor, so I do think the Elks will be better. And what I see in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I see the same team that was in Calgary after they won the Cup in 2019. That was a team that got poached. That was a team that the players got older, and there was the decline happening. So you probably would like to hear this in Regina, but I see the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as the odd team out in the West. I see four teams still making the playoffs because, let's be honest, Toronto's schedule, no way in hell is that team going to make the playoffs. And the Ottawa Red Blacks, they're a mystery card for me because I like Ryan Dinwiddie. I like some of the things he's done. But Jake Mayer is their starting quarterback. Hell, we've seen that in Calgary. That didn't work out here, so good luck to Ryan Dinwiddie on that front.
Very interesting. What do you think of I want to get your take on what the Riders are dealing with here. I think it's absolutely weird. Obviously, we got a World Cup year. There's teams playing in different situations. A little bit of a head scratcher on some. Obviously, speaking of Toronto, what do you think about the Riders getting that early preseason game in, then playing a preseason game, and then now basically having like 3+ weeks off with a bye week in week one? I think it's wacko.
Yeah, it's not an ideal situation, but it's a hell of a lot better than the Toronto Argonauts having to play a home game in some other people's buildings and stuff. So, it is what it is. It's a one-off. The Stampeders have to play a game in Kelowna this year, and that'll be a high school football stadium. It's not going to be an ideal situation. The Stamps have already played in a high school stadium in Clark Stadium in Edmonton. So, that wasn't ideal. I think it is just a one-off at this point, guys. And bottom line is bye weeks are important because you can recharge your body. But having that big of a layoff early in the season, I'm not sure that's ideal for the Riders.
Okay, and as a longtime CFL broadcaster, what do you think of that new broadcast deal and the streaming partner bringing on DAZN?
I laugh at people that get pissed off because they don't want to pay $20 for a subscription. I go, what world are they living in? Because that's the world we're living in. If you look at the NFL, you got to have Amazon, you got to have Prime, you got to have Peacock. If you want to watch all the games, streaming is the way of the world right now in the Canadian Football League. I think it's going to make TSN better because they're going to have to be better. And when you get some competition, I think it's good for your product. So everybody has been talking about that for a long time. And hey, if you're a fan of the game, of course you're going to go out and get the subscription. And I will say this, I think there might be a CFL-only package that they come up with. It'll be nice to see the details, from that standpoint. So Stuart Johnson was brought in, as a former TSN executive to make some money for this league. And this league has never been on better footing, guys, because you talk about some of the ownership groups. Richest dude in Alberta, Murray Edwards, he owns the Calgary Stampeders. You got Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment owning the Toronto Argonauts. You've got, good solid ownership in Edmonton now, where they're no longer, a community-run team. And some of the best community-run teams are some of your strongest in Winnipeg and in Saskatchewan. So I tell you what, I think the CFL has never been better as far as the ownership structure. And now with the new TV deal, all guns a-blazing. Let's go.
So it wasn't Murray or Murray's boys that set the fire to the stadium there, trying to maybe get an insurance claim?
Well, it might have been a Stampeder fan. There's no question about that. I can't deny that. But unfortunately, it's tough to burn the concrete and metal.
How do we get a new stadium? We'll burn the old one down. What an idea! It doesn't work like that. Jock, always a pleasure, man. We'll be talking throughout the year as well. Hopefully, I get to a game out there. Maybe it's the big one. Maybe it's just when the Riders in town, and I can buy you a pint or two.
Hey, I tell you what. Put a 10 spot, maybe even 100 spot on Stampeders winning over 8.5 games, guys.
Oh, 100 spot. And if they make the Grey Cup, I'll be flying first class on one of those little puddle jumpers to Calgary. Have a good one on the show tonight, Jock.
All right, guys. Take care.
You can hear him on QR77 in Calgary, also part of the Calgary broadcast, Calgary Stampeders broadcast team. Jock Wilson joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Grab a pie tonight, any of the Greek favorites at your local Western Pizza. It is a Sports Cage. We're streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. We're on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
You just played 4 quarters of football. You got hit by guys built like farm equipment. And now you're thinking about a little celery stick and a protein shake? Come on, this is a job for Western Pizza. Load up with pepperoni, ham, bacon, melty cheese, maybe some ribs, lasagna, or souvlaki on the side. You put in the work, now eat like you mean it.
And get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
They could have just called it a flooring store.
Yeah, but that doesn't really cover it.
Carpet, hardwood, laminate.
Outdoor flooring, artificial turf, rubber athletic flooring.
Hey, that's more than a store.
Exactly. That's a superstore.
So whether it's your living room, your garage, your gym, or your backyard.
Think bigger. Think super. I think you've got it now.
Flooring Superstore. Quality floor. Over 20 years serving Regina and area. FlooringSuperstoreRegina.ca.
Play of the game? Touchdown! More like the game to play. The new Saskatchewan Roughriders Scratch and Win ticket. It's your chance to win 10 years of Rider season tickets, a premium suite for the home opener and the Labor Day Classic, and tons of Rider swag. Plus, 2 chances to win $75,000. Tickets available at your favorite lottery retailers. Proudly brought to you by Sask Lotteries, supporting sport, culture, and recreation across the province. Please play responsibly.
If you're thinking about a landscape project but not quite sure where to start, hi, I'm Sean from the Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. That's why we built this place. We help you make the right calls, from choosing materials to understanding how it goes together, so your project turns out the way you want. Whether it's paving stones, retaining walls, or irrigation, our team will help you get it right the first time. Stop by our showroom on the East Vic Service Road or visit therustyshovel.ca. Great projects start at the shovel. The Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport is the home of the Price Match Guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
It's game 1 of the Stanley Cup final tonight around 6 p.m. Puck drop after the American National Anthem. It'll be loud in Raleigh, Carolina, Vegas. Game 1, Vegas. 3 times in the last 9 years to the Stanley Cup. The Canes have made it to the Stanley Cup final 3 times. Most recent, 2006, when they won it. Other hockey news, Norris winner Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Preds hired Chris McFarland as their president of hockey operations and general manager. It looks like Jared Bednar is staying put as head coach in Colorado. Western Canadian Baseball League tonight. Berries are in Regina, taking on the Red Sox at Currie, 7:05. Weyburn's in Moose Jaw, and Medicine Hats at Swift Current. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays, Atlanta Braves at 5:15. And Canada will be without Alphonso Davies in their World Cup opener versus Bosnia on June 12th. We'll talk more about the World Cup tomorrow with our World Cup insider. Sports Ticker is brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, where now it's goalie days on. Select goalie gear up to 60% off. Experts on hand for fitting. Appointments can be made for fitting, and enter to win a goalie stick with every purchase. Extreme Hockey and Sport, they're local. They support local. 3 locations: McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, the new one, Temple Garden Center in Moose Jaw. All right, we're going into hour number 3. We will talk to Glen Suitor. It's a Sports Cage on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
From the towers to the tractors, country's greatest hits, 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station.
The news is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of Saskatchewan's biggest selection of Ram trucks and Jeeps. CrestviewChrysler.ca.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening, mostly cloudy and 20 degrees in Regina. I'm Denis Conroy from the Sask Today newsroom with 620 CKRM News. A CUPE report is sparking concern in Regina over what education support workers say are unsafe medical responsibilities being pushed into Saskatchewan classrooms. The union says workers are being trained inconsistently, yet still asked to perform procedures like tube feeding, insulin injections, and seizure monitoring. CUPE leaders say some staff receive only minimal instruction before being placed in high-risk situations. The group is now urging the province to create a task force and clearly define worker roles and training standards. A Saskatoon transit ride turned violent late Monday night when bear spray was deployed on board a city bus near Diefenbaker Drive and Veneer Crescent. Police say just after 11:30 p.m., a male passenger got off the bus, then allegedly re-entered its path and sprayed 2 people before fleeing into a nearby alley. Paramedics treated those exposed at the scene. Investigators believe the parties are known to each other. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them or Crime Stoppers. Nearly $1.5 million is being invested by the Saskatchewan government to support 33 new classroom projects across the province. The Teacher Innovation and Support Fund allows teachers to create programs that give students practical learning experiences. Examples include building remote-controlled vehicles and training in construction skills. Applications were submitted this spring for the 2026-27 school year. The province says the fund encourages creativity in schools and helps students to prepare for future jobs, especially in trades and technology fields. After arriving in Regina last Friday, a Winnipeg woman's cross-country mission for cancer research continues across Saskatchewan. Maddie Kennedy is riding nearly 6,000 kilometers from Halifax to Vancouver in support of the Canadian Cancer Society. The 29-year-old fitness coach hopes to raise $1 million through her What a Privilege campaign, inspired by her mother's cancer diagnosis. Despite battling rain, wind, and long days on the road, Kennedy remains on her bike and is expected to leave Saskatchewan later this week. A recent weather swing is being blamed for a noticeable increase in Regina's mosquito activity. City Trap data shows roughly 200 mosquitoes captured last week, nearly double what is typically expected for this time of year. Officials say warm temperatures helped larvae develop quickly across several neighborhoods. However, with drier conditions returning, the city does not expect another major surge soon. Environment Canada is forecasting mostly sunny days ahead, with only a chance of showers this weekend. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com. Weather's next.
And now your summer savings report for Crestview Chrysler in Regina. Current conditions include no-charge diesels on select Ram trucks, kicking off a powerful month of savings here in Regina, and adventure seekers can get into a brand new Jeep Cherokee with payments starting at just $279 bi-weekly plus tax. Forecast models are calling for heavy discounts, low finance rates, and serious trade values, all expected to continue throughout the entire month. This has been your summer savings report for Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Regina.
Weather for next-gen coatings, spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name, 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. And Kevin's Marine. Make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. kevinsmarine.com.
Occasional clouds, occasional breaks in the overcast, and a couple of spotty showers still possible through the night and then again through the day on Wednesday, especially in the afternoon Wednesday. Once we get past that, the system is going to weaken, it's going to push away, and that's going to bring us into some drier and gradually warmer air to close out the week. But for now, we're right on par for average, maybe a touch below average through the daytimes, around 8 overnight and 20 degrees through the high on Wednesday. There is a pretty good chance for at least some showers through the day, maybe even a normal of thunder, but then the chance of rain drops off Wednesday night, and we're partly sunny on Thursday, the low 9 and the high near 20. The warm air has been waiting to our south and west. It's going to push in as the storm departs, and we'll see temperatures climbing up to around 26 under a mostly sunny sky on Friday. Even warmer on Saturday, 29, but a chance for some showers coming in on Sunday, still holding in the mid-20s, though. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now next gen coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
This is the year to own the boat of your dreams. At Kevin's Marine, discover legendary Lund boats, built for a lifetime of serious fishing and family fun. Stretch out and relax, or enjoy the day with family on a brand new pontoon from Bentley or Crest, or make a splash in a 4-wind sport boat, all powered by trusted Mercury 4-stroke motors. Right now, get manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing. Make decking easy with Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Visit Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel or kevinsmarine.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Oh, yeah. One more hour on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries, where, if you haven't heard, they support sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders scratch and win. Neither of the $75,000 prizes have been claimed yet. So get out there while supplies last. All the money stays in Saskatchewan. If you miss any of the program, you can go back and listen to it in podcast form. The podcast is brought to you by Freeze Tallman Lumber. We had Rob Vanstone basically for the first hour. It was fun. Vanstone, just memory, right? Like an elephant. Arash Madani in hour 2. Jock Wilson, Calgary Stampeders broadcast team, in hour 3. And soon we're going to talk to Glen Suitor. But let's go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, and we're joined by Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs Golf Course. Brian, I would suspect there's people taking advantage of the specials tonight.
Absolutely. You know, we have our 6 o'clock special every night of the week, including on the weekends. It's only $23.50 to come out and play the golf course. And we've got a bunch of people on the golf course right now that have taken advantage of the 3 o'clock special of $40.50. And, of course, tomorrow, you know, is Wednesday. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, if you're a female or a senior, you only pay $42 to come out and play all day, pretty much.
Perfect stuff. I had someone ask me the other day, they're like, I want to go golfing, but I don't have golf clubs. And I said, well, Flowing Springs, good track, no pressure, kind of, you know, you can kind of hit it around there. And they also have clubs. Absolutely. Yes, we do. We have Callaway golf clubs. They're Strata brand from Callaway. And, it's pretty common to have, they're nice match sets. You know, sometimes you go to golf courses and, you might be getting some clubs that they found on the golf course and put a set together. Not these ones. These are all matched, so they're nice clubs. Do you let people use clubs for the driving range?
Yeah, we have rental clubs for the driving range too.
Yeah, perfect stuff. And then also, I'm sure things are the heat. It's got to be green out there. Things are in excellent shape.
You know what? I mean, the heat was a little bit difficult for people to play, and especially with the wind. But one thing it's done is, boy, the grass is literally jumping out of the ground because we've had lots of moisture. The boys have been out fertilizing. So, yeah, the course is in great shape. And, of course, we have those great specials. If you come out and pay for a green fee in June, we'll give you a $25 gift certificate towards any of our Skechers shoes, including the new slip-on golf shoes. And, of course, the driving range. Let's talk about the driving range for just a second. Huge driving range, all grass, no mats, target greens, and if you come out and get a large basket of balls, we will give you a coupon for another large basket that you can use any day after 5 o'clock, and you get a half-price basket, and we'll also let you have a 7-inch hot dog for $1.
It's a Harvest hot dog, isn't it?
Harvest hot dog, exactly.
Yeah, that's not you're not serving anybody else with Bush League hot dogs. Those are the best right there. A nice Harvest dog. I got to ask you, what's your prediction? Carolina, Las Vegas. What do you got?
Oh man, this is going to be tough. I think Vegas is probably talent-wise a little bit better team, especially down the middle. But I don't think I've ever seen a team play quite as machine-like as Carolina does. I mean, they can stifle just about anybody. So it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a long series. Yeah. Goaltending might be the issue. Freddie Anderson, we know that in the past he's maybe had some weaknesses, but he's played very well so far. So. Mm-hmm. That could be the difference.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a little chess match there for the coaching staffs, and as each game goes on, no doubt about it. Okay, Brian, people want to get out there, take advantage of the discounts, or just go play golf in general, 7-day advance bookings. How do they do it?
They just have to give us a call at 306-543-5050, and you can book online through FlowingSpringsGolf.com.
All right, Brian, talk to you on Thursday.
You betcha. Take care.
Brian Raymond, Flowing Springs Golf Course in just outside of Regina. Great place to play and in awesome shape for sure. Okay, it's time we talk to Glen Suitor.
For press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sportscage. Brought to you by Freeze Tolman Lumber. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years in Regina and Fort Capel.
Barney,
what's your prediction? Golden Knights, Carolina.
Yeah, I would love you, and honestly, it's not because I think they'll be bad, but I next time you have Arash on, ask him to track ratings for the Stanley Cup final. I'd be very interested with two American teams, a team that's been there quite often over the last few years, as you've mentioned, in Vegas, and just what those ratings would look like. Again, I'm not suggesting that they won't be any good. I think they'll be fine, but I just wonder, both here and in the States, what that would look like. By the way, I wanted to say, often before our segment, Brian comes on at Flowing Springs.
Yeah.
So I remember the course, and I know that on Flowing Springs, if there's water on a golf course, I will find it.
You're there. I gotta ask you. Curtis moved your camera over, but you got all those pillows there with the sun coming in. Beautiful West Coast sun. Were you building a pillow fort before you came on?
No, but it's an equally bad excuse for having a pile of pillows behind me. The excuse I have is, when my dog comes down here, Maximus, he comes down and walks around sometimes. If there's pillows near the floor or ones that he can reach, he will grab them and drag them all over the house and start messing with them. So I have to stack the pillows.
Kate, but I want to get back to the question, because I know you don't give predictions when it comes to the CFL, but I want a Carolina, Las Vegas, Carolina. They made things look easy so far. Maybe Vegas did against Colorado, but we got three Saski guys associated to the Golden Knights, and Kelly McCrimmon, their general manager, Braden McNabb from Davidson, Saskatchewan, and then I forgot about from Yorkton, Saskatchewan. On defense, the name's going to come to me here in a second. And then on Carolina's side, we have, Caden Korzak plays D for Vegas. Hopefully he's in the lineup. And then Rod Brindamore, not from Saskey, but he went to Notre Dame down in Wilcox. So I'm going Vegas in this series. I haven't said it yet. I'm going Vegas. Who do you like, Suits?
Well, I've got to take Carolina if you're going Vegas,
Okay.
and we'll put a little dinner on it.
Little Western pizza?
Western pizza dinner. And we'll see if any of the Fries Tallman gentlemen like to come out and join us.
Whoa. If I lose this bet, I'm just
Well, you got a
paying
few
for
guys you got to pay for.
I'm paying for you. We're not bringing on stragglers in here. Okay, you heard
I'm
it.
kidding. You pay for me, but we'll bring them out, though. We'll get them out there, too.
Suits is taking Carolina. I'm taking Vegas. Sharky owes me a supper at Western Pizza. Luke Mullender owes me a supper at Western Pizza. Let's make it the trifecta with Suits.
Wow.
So now
You're
we
gonna
got
eat free for a month if this happens.
Maybe Curtis gets to come for a couple pints as well, just
absolutely.
for all the hard work that he does. You know what? I was talking about this earlier, and some people texted in, and I appreciate them texting in.
Mm-hmm.
There are because we've talked about your lawn a lot on this show. There are things have been growing at a rapid pace here in Regina because we had so much heat. But I don't know what the bylaw is here, but I know there is one that you need to cut your lawn. Like, you can't just look like a scrub all year long with your yard. There are some, Glen, that I'm telling you, 2-3 feet high. And I'm like, at what point? Now you're beyond lawnmower. You got to get the weed whacker out there first. But there's always these bylaws, and then I think at some point the city jumps in. But I'm driving around Regina, and I'm like, I don't know if the city would be able to keep up.
Well, I'll give you an even better example of what happens over here in this woke little province of ours. I would take a guy coming over to my door and saying, hey, could you cut your grass? And that's probably what happens. I'm sure that's how it unfolds, at least for the first warning out of the gate in Saskatchewan. Here, okay, so I'm hand watering the hedge. You've seen the big hedge in the front yard. So I'm hand watering the hedge because of the water bans. It's early in the summer. Mm-hmm. And what are the cars that Elon Musk makes? The
Tesla?
Yeah, one of the Teslas comes by. Tesla comes by, pulls over, and I'm watering the hedge from, I'm standing on the lawn 3 feet from the hedge. Okay, so picture that. So the water is following into the hedge, but there's water sprinkling on the grass as well on its way to the hedge by design. By the way, like, this is something that I'm planning on doing. Like, I'm not allowed to water the lawn, but I am allowed to hand water the hedge. So I back up enough so there's a little bit of sprinkling that's actually hitting the grass. A Tesla pulls up, a girl walks out from the government, the district here, and says, you can't water your grass.
Oh.
I was like, I'm hand watering my hedge, but there's water getting on your grass, and that's not allowed. I would suggest, and I'm not a politician, I don't think we should get political, but I would suggest
we already have
that is over-governing. That's bureaucracy we don't need to be.
Did she recognize
hounding
you?
People like that.
Did she recognize you? Not that maybe she's a CFL fan, but did she recognize you at all? Did you have your hat pulled down low?
I had the full sunglass hat.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So and
incognito.
I of course very, very polite, because the moment you fight back there in our little woke province of British Columbia is the moment that you're on a list. Now you're on the list, just like the Seinfeld episode. Now you're on the list. You put my name on the list, we're in trouble.
2 questions.
Okay.
Did she have a mask on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, she didn't.
Was her hair dyed any weird color?
No, I think it was black hair, but I did notice sort of a T-shirt and a tattoo. There was a tattoo.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought, how could she possibly have known? Like, was there spider sense
And it's not on your doorbell cam? Like, you can't, I won't play it on the show. You can't send me this just for my own curiosity and anger?
I haven't actually checked to see back if it was on my camera. I don't think so, though, because it doesn't hit that angle. But I just, I mean, come on, this is silly. Like, I get it. We're all doing the save the water thing, and we're trying to do it. The forest fire season's coming up. I got it all. I'm in. Hey, I take my own bags to the grocery store. I put my plastic stuff in the plastic box. I mean,
a little bit of sprinkling, though, on the lawn. You're going to jail, sir. Stony Mountain, here you come.
Crazy. Come on.
Federal, too. That's not provincial. You're doing hard time. Suits. You're going in. Okay, we got to talk a little bit of CFL football here. I get up on Saturday morning and I look through the Rough Rider transactions, and I don't know where you land, and I'm going through them. And I'm like, okay, Juju Hughes, he's at a good camp. I thought he was going to be there, and then released. I go down to the release, and I'm like, Jonathan Kim, the kicker. I'm like, we just talked to him. Like, he's having such a Benny Sapp the third. I'm like, then the one that jumps out with me, American running back Mario Anderson.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys. I also thought Siosi Mariner.
Yes.
When I watched him in Ottawa, I thought this guy has upside potential big time. Like, big body, good reach, long arms, that kind of thing. And he had a pretty good game in Ottawa that I was calling that night. And I thought, I think we might be scratching the surface on this guy. So that was a little bit of surprise. Mario for sure was a bit, but a lot of these guys you got to keep in mind that are released are on speed dial from the organization. If they don't land on another team, they're on speed dial. So all it takes is one injury, and Mariner knows the system, he knows the playbook, he can be inserted into the lineup in a heartbeat if someone goes down, knock on wood.
Would it be some of these guys too, would they and take me through, and some people have asked this question as well. They would ask them, hey, we got a practice roster spot for you. Let's see how this works out. Would these guys talk to their agents? Would they make the decisions on their own to be like, you know what? No, I'm good. I think I'm going to roll the dice and maybe get picked up by somebody else. So just give me a straight out release.
Yeah, that's exactly why they would say let's give it a week or two. We can revisit with the organization. By then they may not want to put him or add him to the practice roster, but they likely will if there's room on it. And in the meantime, it leaves you completely free as a player to sign with any other team. Especially you want to go probably week 1 or 2 and take a look at who goes down early. Because, usually there's a team or two that gets hit pretty hard right out of the gate. And when that happens, they start calling, these guys that have been released, that have had good camps, had good preseasons. And here's another little thing that I noticed as years have gone on is that a guy, let's say you play Calgary in the preseason, a guy that had a big game against Calgary in the preseason has been noticed by Calgary. So if he gets released by Saskatchewan, he is then noticed by Calgary. Now, they might not have room coming out of training camp for him on the roster or practice roster yet, but they do have him on speed dial as well. So they're, the players that have just been released, they usually the veteran or the guys that have had good camps and they know they've had good preseason games, they're going to give it a couple of weeks and then try to settle in and stay in a camp and be ready.
I thought Jonathan Kim, right, the kicker, and he was going to make it. I think I had Rob Vanstone in hour 1, and I asked him, and he doesn't know. He hasn't talked to the coaches as well. But I think it's because of the global, and you need to put your global somewhere, and that's where Hale's going to get the nod on the kicking front. Where do you land on that rule in the CFL as a global? There's rumors that it's kind of going to maybe go away at some point. Where do you land?
Well, I haven't heard those rumors, although I did hear the commissioner at one point in front of a mic say something along the lines of that it's not really a priority. It's not something he's thinking about. The global will stay in place for a while, and I'm sure they'll examine it. I don't like it. I honestly don't like it. I think if a team really wants to go and look at Europe or Mexico and look at different players, they are welcome to do that. No one is telling them you can't travel to Mexico and do a free agent camp and take a look at football players that are playing in their version of, pro tackle football, or even through the UFL, or you go to Europe. I went to that game in Italy, and, I saw 2 or 3 players there that could have made probably a CFL roster or maybe even an NFL roster. I think they can still do that. I just don't like this mandate that, it used to be that globals were paid less. So it made for more incentive for a team to say, hey, if we have a couple globals on our team, we can minimum wage those guys, and that gives us more room in other areas.
And then they got to go turn it into euros or pounds. So then they basically, they're making 15 cents an hour.
Yeah, exactly. It just, it gets pretty bad at times. I think that has changed now, though. I don't know the official ruling of it at this moment, but it's changed. It's not like the minimum anymore. I just don't like that it's mandatory. I really don't. I don't think that's necessary. But with regards to your kicking decision, now that it is a rule, and as long as they're both close, then you can see why this decision was made. That, he can be our global, and, if we bring on an American kicker, we're changing the ratio somewhere else with an American probably, so that causes a little trickle-down effect. So if they're close, but if they're not really close, if Kim has a out-of-the-park better preseason and practice, testing than anyone else, then he's the guy. They're going to go with an American, and he's the guy. So it still is the best player. But if the two players are close, I can look in the mirror and say throughout training camps, throughout years, there were Americans that were, slightly better. But if they could play a Canadian safety, they were going to still do that. So, you get the nod because you're neck and neck coming out of camp.
For sure. Just around the league, were you surprised with any other cuts from teams?
Yeah, a little bit. Peyton Logan, I thought in Toronto would, I still think he has some burst. I was really surprised that Ottawa cut Dylan Wynn. Dylan Wynn, to me, a defensive tackle who I just felt like was one of those Micah Johnson type beasts in the middle. I don't remember thinking last year that his play had dropped off, although he did get into some injuries. Deontay Ruffin in BC got cut. That's a veteran DB. And that's a place where I thought defensively there was probably going to be a shakeup in BC, and I'm going to have to look at their final roster in the next couple of days here and see how they've changed that defense, because I won't say the defense let them down, but if they get a couple more stops in a couple key situations in the playoff run, they're in the Grey Cup and Saskatchewan isn't. But taking nothing away from the Riders, I love your question, your poll question today, Barney, about the West Division, and I listened in with Jock from Calgary, and I think Calgary's got a team that will surprise people. I really do.
Well, Jock had me sold. I was buying some stock.
Well, here's the question mark that hangs over Calgary. I think, when you look through their O&D lines, their D line is stacked. And with Jalen Hutchings coming back, he was that guy. He was Micah Johnson in his prime. I mean, he was destroying guard to guard and through the center. He was destroying that part of the field. So getting him back to a 3-year contract just solidifies a really good defense. And then I think in Calgary, their receiving core is about to take another step. Clark Barnes and Jalen Philpott are in their 5th year, I believe, both those guys, Canadians, that are ready to become 1,000-yard receivers. They had a great playoff run last year, and then you bring in Bagleton and VA slinging it around, and one of the top, if not the top, you could make an argument for it, running backs and Dedrick Mills. And you've got a team, I think, that nobody is giving any hope to, and I'd be surprised if they don't come out hot out of the gate. Now, the question is, can VA finish? You know, can he finish games and be careful when not be careful, you can't be careful in the field, but can he protect himself when he runs? Like, be smart and protect himself when he runs, because he needs to run. But when he does, he's got a hook slide. He's got to not take those hits that he has taken in the past. And can he win a playoff? Can he get into the playoffs and take that final step in his career? Because he's done it everything else. He's put up big numbers. He can sling it anywhere. He's explosive. He can run. He's a tremendous leader and great human being. So can VA finally finish? And that'll be the question in Calgary. But I like their team, and I think they're getting overlooked.
That's as close as to prediction I think we're going to get out of you in this go-around with things. Okay, I don't know where your Grey Cup ring is or what it looks like.
Oh my
but
gosh.
it must look something from a surprise pack that we used to buy back in the 80s compared to what they rolled out the other night.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. You know, I get the hair on the back of my neck right now is standing up. And it honestly, now that part, if you're watching the stream, does the top, it stays attached, right? Like
I don't know. We should have asked Rob Vance or Curtis. Do you know? Does it stay? Because then I want an over/under on who the first guy to lose that top part is.
Exactly. As soon as I saw that, Barney, I thought, oh my God, I'd worry about it. I'd look at it every second, like the top's still there, the top's still there, the top's still there. It's a really cool idea, don't get me wrong, but I'd just be so concerned that top would pop off and I'd lose it.
I think it comes off. Like, that's the design, because that's all of them come with the piece of the game ball from the Grey Cup, and that's that part of the lid. So it does, in fact, come off. Mosaic Stadium finally has a roof.
Yeah, but what a beautiful ring. And I heard Rob talking today. That was fantastic, by the way. He is such an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that he got a ring. I think there are so many people that have told the Saskatchewan story, none better than Rob Vanstone, when it comes to messaging and telling the Saskatchewan story, and him to rattle off who's still alive from 1966 and that winning team. It just, it's important. The message is important, and I'm glad he got one.
While we're talking about rings, on this day in 2002, reported that Paul McCartney had thrown his fiancée Heather Mills' engagement rings out of the hotel window during a fight. Guards at Miami's Turnberry Isle Resort combed the grounds using metal detectors and later found the $25,000 ring.
Wow. Do you know that Paul McCartney's high school choir teacher told him that he couldn't sing well enough to be in the choir?
Really?
Yeah. If you're ever in Liverpool.
Oh, don't. You're gonna make me jealous.
And
I want to go there so bad.
You take the bus tour up by his university that he's helped to found and all of that. The Paul McCartney University.
I just want to go to the Cavern Club and have cold beers and just listen to anybody that's. I would listen to. Who's an artist that I just dislike, that I can't stand? The lead singer from Sugarland. I'd listen to her at the Cavern Club. That's how much I just want to see live music there.
When you're in the Cavern Club and you have to go down a bunch of flights of stairs, it is a cave. Like, you're in a cave, and you're in there. Everybody's crammed in. It's pretty cool atmosphere. But I guarantee you, at some point, if you're on the weekend, you will run into a cover band, a Beatle cover band. And they do it just like the early Beatles. Like they'll have the black suit and the black tie and their young kids with the hair and everything. It's just, and they sound fantastic.
I got to do it. I have to. I just have to do it. I don't know how many years I got left. I gotta go. I gotta go do it. Okay, want to hear a funny ring story? I don't know, statute of limitations. I'm not going to use names. We were on a trip once with a bunch of people, and it was either in Mexico or Dominican Republic, and these people have been dating a long time, and they were like, it's kind of second marriages. It was going to be, and I think she was really in love. I think he was just kind of hanging out. And so I wasn't there, but this story, man, I just talked about it with someone a while ago. It's over 10 years ago now. So they went for a nice supper, and then they kind of went off on their own behind the group. And he, for some reason, gives her this ring. And she takes it as like an engagement ring, but he doesn't like ask. And then I think the story is like, she's like, well, are you going to like, I want you to do it officially. Like, do you want to ask? And he's like, well, no, I bought it today. It's just like a present, like a ring. It's not. And she freaks out and throws it in, how resorts are dark at night? She threw it into this bush. So this is the Paul McCartney story, and walked away. And then everyone else that was with it was kind of, felt bad, but still kind of laughing inside, because that's how it all plays out. So the next day they combed said bush for this ring, and I don't think they ever found it.
Someone got a hold of that and
one of the workers for sure at a resort.
Yeah. And put it right on, double down on some sort of split kings or something.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Puerto Vallarta marketplace the next day. But I'm like, what are you doing giving? And when you're kind of in that zone where you might be less than any guys out there, or sometimes girls propose allegedly. Don't buy a ring. Yeah. Buy something else. Buy a nice purse.
Yeah, necklace works, earrings, that you don't get the miscommunication there. But let's be honest, Barney, and I don't know who you're talking about. No names involved here. But
I'm not saying that. I want to, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, no. And but you said it's in Vegas, so I'm thinking there's probably...
No, it wasn't in Vegas. It was in Mexico or Dominican Republic.
Okay, either way, I'm guessing there was some beverages involved here.
Oh, yeah. Like... buckled and it was like, and it was, when you go to those resorts, sometimes you go to a nice resort, there's always that couple that gets in a domestic. You could probably find one every night. It's like, and it's at the swim up bar during the day, or it's at night. You hear someone screaming, that's it, door slamming. Usually, a lot of times they're from the Ponoka area, and he was wearing white sunglasses. But yeah, it happens. I don't know how we got on. Let's talking about the rings. That's what it is.
What you do to avoid that is go to Caymans. Go to the Grand Cayman Islands.
Tell them I know Glen Suitor. The great Glen Suitor, the scuba diving instructor. There's a picture of you on the wall. Those rider ring. That's
beautiful.
That's beautiful. Something else though. And I'm not. I have two replicas from the two Patriots Super Bowls I went to. They won, and they're replicas, obviously, and I have them kind of in a little case and in the basement by the helmets and stuff. And I'm like, these are really nice rings. But then that comes out yesterday, and I'm like, that is next level. Who designed it?
The players would have put together a group of the leaders, the veterans, to work on the design, and there'll be a story behind it. I don't know the full story, so I won't even try to,
Curtis has it. Curtis is our insider.
Okay, so there's Curtis. There's the different emeralds and things that represent wins and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Allegedly, they were going to engrave them tarpless at the legislature on it, but that didn't happen.
Well, so it was a committee that kind of did it. So it was a collective vision between quarterbacks Trevor Harris, linebacker Jameer Thurman, long snapper Jordan Hughes, head coach Corey Mace, vice president of football operations general manager Jeremy O'Day. They all worked together to get the vision for this, and then there was a few other things on it. So inside the ring features an authentic piece of Grey Cup ball alongside precision laser engraved tick marks inspired by the iconic wooden piece. I believe all the gemstones around it are for each win. So there's 14 gemstones on the side, all for a win. Yeah, it's really nifty stuff. That's for sure.
Oh, what? Seriously, what compared to yours? Could we do a side by side?
Well, every year, mine is just upstairs, but every year it's a new evolution of it. And the Ringmaker, I don't know if it's the same company, but they are very creative. And guys, money comes and goes, and you'll do different things in your life, but that symbol of that championship and being the best in your sport in your country, that never goes away. And the people that all own that ring will all be part of that one group that no matter how many years go by where you don't see each other, you'll still have that. And that's why I'm shocked sometimes, and it must be real desperate situations when a former player in either league tries to sell their ring.
It.
I mean, it has to be ultra desperate for that to happen, because because of the hard work put in. I mean, you've invested so much of your heart and soul into from when you're a little kid, dreaming of being able to play pro ball and win a championship, and then it happens, and it I could give you lists of thousands of players who don't have one. Great players that don't have one.
Yeah.
And never will. So it's all that work and all the support and your wife and your family and everybody that's been there with you.
Scuba
it's
people.
all in that symbolism in that ring.
The scuba people. People that have never listened to the segment that don't know what we're talking about. Oh man, it was
and
so
the Caymans
funny.
too. The poster on the wall. It doesn't say Glen Suitor. It says Glen Scuba. Glen Scuba.
Scuba Suitor. You know what? You know what would have been a really cool present for you? We're up against the clock, I know. Was when they ripped out that turf from the Sky Dome way back when, whatever. If someone could have visually found out where it was and maybe like a 4x8 chunk and given it to you, and you could have used it where you held the ball.
Well, that's, I mean, that I'll give you one example of how great Rider fans are, because that would have been cool. I probably would have had skin and blood and everything else in that little piece of turf. But let me just grab
some of Ray Algard's mullet.
Yeah. I'm going to just grab something real quick here, because right above where I do this, a gentleman and his family sent me this when Taylor Field in Regina was taken apart.
Yep.
The DBs and us used to warm up for games right in front of section 27, which back in the day was the college section. It was the young kids section. So they were in there, they were rowdy, they're having fun and all that. And we used to, as DBs, warm up. And I always thought that was an omen, that my number and where we warmed up in front of that section of the stadium was kind of like an omen. This was meant to be kind of thing. I know, just crazy thinking. But
yeah,
he sent me this because it is the legit piece of that was the
I know
of the signs
they sold. Yep, my buddy did his bar in his basement with a bunch of that. He bought a bunch of it and did it. It's really cool. Okay, we're up against the clock here. We're back on Thursday. I want to see a pillow fort when we come back.
It's a good idea. See if my dog can handle a pillow fort.
Hey, see you soon. Talk to you Thursday.
Okay, see you guys.
Press coverage of Glen Suitor brought to you by Freeze Tallman Lumber, where they can deliver out to your cabin. cottage, from Fort Capel or Regina, more than a lumber yard. Anything you need, Freeze Tallman Lumber. We'll go to break. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
The summer farm season provides a landscape full of opportunity with Ritchie Brothers. Our sales schedule runs from June 9th through August 12th, with 35 exclusive farm auctions spread across Western Canada, bringing you fertile land and quality equipment ripe for the picking. When the fields are at their best, it's time to tap into farm country. Get started today at rbauction.com/agriculture. Once again, that's rbauction.com/agriculture.
We caught up with Darren Oliphant, a proud prairie farmer, to ask why he has trusted his crops to Ag Direct Hail for over a decade.
The choice is simple. We like Ag Direct's rates and the convenience of purchasing online. When I've had a claim, my adjustments have been fast and fair. Now they are launching a claims-free discount. I would tell any prairie farmer to consider Ag Direct Hail for their coverage.
Find out why thousands of farmers just like Darren choose Ag Direct year after year. Visit agdirecthail.com or call toll-free.
The Roughriders season is here and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Got a landscape project in mind this year, but not sure how to bring it together? Hi, I'm Sean from the Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. This is where projects get stuck, not knowing what to do first. That's what our project consult is for. We'll come out, walk the space with you, and help you build a clear plan. Whether you're doing it yourself or need a contractor, we'll point you in the right direction. Book your project consult today at therustyshovel.ca/consult. Great projects start at the shovel. The Rusty Shovel Landscape Shop. 2 green thumbs up.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
For the third time in 9 years, the Las Vegas Golden Knights are playing for the Stanley Cup. They're in Carolina at Game 1 tonight. Carolina last won the Cup way back in 2006 when Rod Brindamore was a player. Puck drop in and around 6 p.m. our time. Other news out of the NHL today. Looks like Jared Bednar is staying put as head coach of the Colorado Avalanche. Zach Werenski has won the Norris Trophy this year. Solid year on the blue line for the Columbus Blue Jacket. Baseball 2-2 right now. Blue Jays are in Atlanta. They're in the second inning. Western Canadian Baseball League tonight in Regina. Saskatoon's in town, 7:05 first pitch for the Red Sox at Curry Field. Moose Jaw hosting Weyburn. Medicine Hats at Swift Current. And some soccer news. Looks like Afonso Davies is going to miss the World Cup opener versus Bosnia for Canada. We're going to get the update tomorrow with our soccer insider, Lee Cormish, here on the program. It's brought to you by Steelcraft Doors. Locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, covering Saskatchewan. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Steelcraft Doors. All right, we got to get to Sprinkle of the Day, Curtis. And when Arash was on, we kind of did Sprinkle of the Day, but this is for Sports Select now. And NHL playoffs tonight. Dun, dun, dun. Vegas is 270 for a regulation win. You got to go up to Sports Select. You're still in the futures because we had fun with the futures early. Carolina 195 at home. The game goes into overtime. If you're an overtime fan, if you like hitting that overtime, you take the tie 350. Okay, over-unders 5.5 on the prop side. If you want to get crazy there, points, Jack Eichel 260 over Sebastian Aho, or Aho's 260 as well. Stone 260, Hall 260. Or you can go assists, Nikolai Ehlers against Mark Stone. The props game on Sports Select. So much fun. All your bets can be made now online if you want. Generate a QR code on your phone. They scan it at the Lotto Spot retailer, or you can go fill it out on the paper slips as well, like we've always done. Every bet is 100% legal. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Chance of winning cash in hand with Sports Select and sportsselect.com. Break. When we come back from break here, I am going to throw some crazy numbers at you for how much it costs to get into the Stanley Cup final and the NBA final. Get ready for this. It's the Sports Cage. We'll be right back.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
What's with all the hullabaloo about tires? Well, the people making a big deal about them are usually the smart ones. The right tires make all the difference, and smart drivers go to your local Cooper tire dealer. They carry Cooper Discoverer Road and Trail AT tires. They have a durable tread that helps resist cutting, cracking, and tearing that occurs on rough trails. Have your vehicle ready for the road before you are. Visit your local Cooper tire dealer and ask for Cooper Discoverer Road and Trail AT tires.
When you play Sports Select, you're part of more than the game. You're backing over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan funded through Sask Lotteries. So go ahead, make your picks at sportselect.com, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Every play is 100% legal, and every ticket supports your community. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Welcome back to Sports Cage. Missed any part of the show? Check out the podcast powered by Freeze Tolman at 620ckrm.com and sportscage.com.
Saskatchewan Roughrider 50-50 is back for the Roughrider Foundation. Riders5050.ca. You can just lock it in so you know you're good for every game. The early bird, not until next Tuesday, the deadline, June 9th. You want to be in for this. You got a Rocky Mountain family getaway, 3 nights at the Malcolm Hotel in Canmore. Also an Icefield adventure and a ride on the Banff Gondola. Or if you don't want to go to the mountains, you want to stick around here because it's nice and windy, you can take $3,600 cash. Again, the deadline for the early bird is next Tuesday, 10 p.m. Riders5050.ca. Okay, you want to get into the game right now. Let's say you're in Raleigh, North Carolina, where they are supposed to have an unbelievable, a deadly, a wicked tailgate. I take because I've heard it from a lot of people. I take everybody's word. If anyone's ever been there, 936-6262, Prairie Line Rentals text line. Last call tickets. If you were there right now and you wanted to get into the game, 1 ticket to get into the barn. Where's the seat at? I'm going to give you a kind of a word. Obviously, it's upper deck. You are getting in for $683. Check that. That just sold. The next cheapest ticket right now, $807. You're up in the corner. Not quite at the rafters, but pretty darn close. But you're still in the unbelievable atmosphere. 807 beans. Right now, last minute, you're getting into the mixer to watch the Stanley Cup final. Now, the NBA, Game 1, not bad. Right now, $706 on the aftermarket. Game 2 in San Antonio, twice as much. Not twice as much. A little bit more, sorry. Just over $1,000 to get in. And then, this is American. These are American prices, by the way. If you want to go to Game 3 at Madison Square Garden, you are not getting in the building right now for under $4,200.
That's a lot of bones, man. $4,200.
And Game 4 is just as bad right now at Madison Square Garden. So San Antonio is a quarter of the price.
Oh, what a steal.
Oh, I don't know. I guess New York, big cash. Who cares? Doesn't matter. They'll sell those as well. I'm just going to another site here just to give people some examples of the other one. I just want one ticket to go to the hockey game tonight. This place Canadian, $1,100. Yeah. So the other one was obviously in American prices. What if we want to go to Curtis? What if we hit it big on a sprinkle tonight, and we want to go to a game in Las Vegas?
I'm not hitting it big on a sprinkle tonight. I'm going to hit it at the end of the series when Carolina sweeps, even though you laughed at me.
You didn't, and then you're just going to ride coattails on Suits and our bet and eat free pizza and drink beer at Western Pizza. Actually, Las Vegas to get in, you're $1,000 Canadian for Game 3 in Las Vegas. So I thought that would have been a little bit higher. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. The basketball ones are crazy. That's big money if you're a New York Knicks fan or you're in New York, and if you're from Regina and you're a New York Knicks fan, probably gonna be tough to get into the barn for that one. Yeah, $5,000. Game 3 and Game
Chump change
4.
for a guy that steals TVs.
Who liked that? Oh, Rob Vanstone loved that story.
Rob was saying he was belly laughing at the story. I didn't mention it if Suits listened to that story, so we'll have to save it for another day.
That was funny. Yeah. Thanks to everyone who texted in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 600 Albert Street. Deal with the owner. Lawn and gardening equipment. All of our guests join us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. If you haven't cooked yet tonight or you're thinking about something, grab a Western Pizza, any of the Greek favorites you love. Tomorrow on the show, I'll give you a rundown of what we are going to talk World Cup soccer with our soccer insider Lee Cormish. We have Ken Wiebe from the Winnipeg Free Press talking Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Scott Schultz is going to be in. Eric Francis, and then another edition of Prairie Golf Gems. We're going to Prince Albert to the Cook Golf Course. So that is the show tomorrow. Curtis, good job. We will talk to you tomorrow on The Cage.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a